All right, so Mr. Bailey, you can come on up to the podium. I don't wanna,
Okay,
I don't know. I don't wanna keep, you waiting any longer
okay.
than we have to. So, we all do know who you are, but I still want you to go ahead and just introduce yourself and, tell us a little bit about you, personally, then go into professionally.
Okay, I'm Gregory Bailey. I've been here in Sylacauga, I guess, for the majority of my adult life and my business life as far as my career. Been here close to 40 years. I've taught at two schools, East Highland and Nicholas Lawson Middle School. I was a part of helping Nicholas Lawson Middle School formulate, I kind of had part of the process when it was built and everything. So I've been here for a minute. Married, 2 children, 1 dog, and a house. That's there. And my wife also taught at Sylacauga City School System, Family Consumer Science and Home Economics there.
I know, I remember she taught me how to make my first homemade bathrobe.
Yeah, but I said home economics, but I better not say that in front of her because it's changed. The Family and Consumer Science. So I wouldn't dare say that in front of her.
Well, thank you for that, Mr. Bailey.
I have some questions.
Yes,
Okay, it's my turn now? Okay.
go right
No,
ahead.
it's my turn, please.
It's okay. And Mr. Bailey, you're currently, serving on the, Board of Education. That's what you're reapplying for, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, how long have you been on the, board?
This will be going on my 5th year,
Okay.
first term.
All right, 5th year. All right. What do you, since you've already been serving, what do you feel that some of the, challenges are as far as a Board of Education, board member is?
Well, it's a number of challenges. We want our students to be competitive throughout the state and throughout other states. That's one of our main goals, and we also want to provide a good facility and good instruction for them. And that's kind of our core goals there, to make sure that they're equipped when they graduate and be able to go out into the world and go ahead and continue their education or do whatever they do and be productive.
Okay, so with saying that, so as a board member, just from your perspective, what would you say your responsibility is as a board member?
My responsibility is to oversee just about everything, from the physical part, the educational part, just anything that comes around. I'm just there to make sure that everything runs smoothly.
But you guys also look over, do y'all have something to do with, as far as the check and balance too, like managing the budget, for the school system as well too?
Absolutely, absolutely. We have a good CFO, and we're with him every day and make sure that everything's running smoothly.
All right, and I have, one more question I'm gonna let Gerda, because I don't want to keep you here too long.
That's all right.
As a board member, since you've been there 5 years, let me ask you, how has it been, when you're having to make the, hard decisions? I guess, say, I'm pretty sure you've had parents call you all the time, but I know your job as a board member isn't day-to-day operations, it's to, work with the superintendent, manage the financials and so on and so forth. So how do you handle when parents call you about issues?
Well, I certainly take it seriously, regardless of how small or how large the issue is. And what I do, I have a couple of people on speed dial, our legal department and other people that can help assist with whatever the concern is. But I certainly take it seriously. And you say call, they catch you at Walmart and everywhere else. I can see I'm back at Walmart and I move, this cart moves to the left. I move, it moves to the left until it got to me, But certainly I take everything seriously. I was an educator for going on 40 years and I've been on both sides. And as a board member, well, first of all, as an educator, I was overseeing kind of one school, but as a board member, you have to oversee all the schools and everything. So that's kind of, something that's interesting there, where have to be able to see everything and have to kind of be concerned with everything there.
Okay. Mr. Bailey, hi, I'm Maria Bizignani. It's
Yes.
nice to meet you. So My thoughts are very broad. I'd like to hear from you about a couple of things that I see as an overarching matter of concern for all education in our country, and especially in the state, and especially our city. One, when I came here to Sylacauga, I realized, and I knew it years ago, but you're an elected board. How do you feel about an elected school board versus an appointed school board versus an elected school board? Do you have an opinion on that?
Okay, the appointed school board, I'm assuming that you all have done your research and picked the best person for the position. So I leave that up to you all as far as an appointed school board. An elective school board, I've not had much experience, but I would have to get out and campaign and make sure that I have whatever the constituents want me to do. I kind of like our appointed school board better because I'm not promising anything and not having to, having to live up to what I told somebody that I would do for them to get their vote,
All right, so my next question is, you said you have your hands in everything that goes on with the school board, the financial, the education, and I've been told that, and I just wanted to know if this is true or not, is that the Sylacauga Board of Education determines the curriculum that is put forth at the city level with the city schools.
Well, we have a standard from the State Department. We probably have a little flexibility. So I leave that up to the State Department and make sure that we're up to par, because we have to take state tests and standardized tests, and we certainly don't want to have our own curriculum that's not in line with the State Department. So we're in constant, I'm not directly with them, but our staff and our superintendent are in constant communication with the State Department. If they tell us to do something or recommend something, we certainly take that under advisement and try and do that. And we certainly appreciate the city council giving us some leeway with some funds so we can continue to progress in that area.
Okay, thank you for that. Also would like to ask, with the school choice coming into play, how do you feel that's going to affect the city schools? Are we seeing a decline in enrollment?
I don't think it's one reason why we're having a decline. It's a lot of movement, a lot of other things that take part of that. As far as the decline, we have declined a little bit there, but I think we're in line with the rest of the schools, around in our area. So we just have to tighten up and bear it, as far as that's concerned. We cannot force a student to stay or go or whatever. We have to go with the rules that have come down from the State Department, and we just have to go accordingly.
So what would you say differentiates Sylacauga City Schools with the other schools around us? What makes us different? What sets us apart?
Well, one thing that I can see that we offer more, as far as electives and things, we try and go above, the standard. And I would ask questions, say, okay, we're paying for this out of local money. We're making sure that the students get extra help or extra activities. I think we're paying for extra art teaching, things that we are not required to do, but we'd like to do in order to make the student a well-rounded person. And I think we spend our money wisely. I think we are taking on extra activities and everything there. And I believe just in the past, I've talked to a lot of people that have come to Sylacauga for that reason, because we do have a good school system and our scores have come up, and I'm not complacent. I want us to do better. I want to put our students up against any student from around the state of Alabama. And I said that when I was an educator, when I went out, took my students out for club meetings and go to state competitions. That's just it. I say, you're just as good as next school. Even though they might have more funds, they might have 100 computers, we might have 10, but we're still competitive. Larger school, but we're still competitive. I feel that way.
And I do applaud y'all because I have watched the scores go up, and I applaud the school system and the school board for seeing that increase.
Yes.
16% of our school population in city schools are having special needs. How do you feel we need to do better for our special needs community?
Well, absolutely. We are always looking for grants and ways to help. As far as that's concerned, we've not turned our back, if I can say that. We've not dropped the ball, but the process is real slow as far as that's concerned. And I'm also concerned about that because they need to be productive citizens. You know, they don't have to be the president or nothing, but they need to be productive. And we're certainly concerned about that. And we're always looking for funds and different things that other schools have done. And I've talked to a number of other teachers, superintendents and everything, and superintendents of our size school, you know, same size, there and see what they have done, and we kind of compare and go from there. But we certainly have that on the front burner.
Okay, thank you so much, I appreciate it.
All right. Mr. Bell, I just have a couple more questions.
Sure.
So you've been serving, you've had your first term under your belt, you've gotten your feet wet, you know what it is to be a board member.
Right.
So what do you feel that you add as a board member, and why are you seeking to continue serving?
Well, the first thing I add, from an educational point of view, I've been, like I mentioned, I've been on the other side, and when I first got on the board there, I was still, that kind of carried me through when I was able to talk to people I work with and know what they're up against, educators, and able to communicate with them as far as that's concerned. The second part there, we have a number of things going on I think I'm a part of, and I'd like to see that finish. A number of projects that I think that will really help the school system when we get those completed. So we're right in the middle of a few things there that I'd like to see completed.
You just think we need to keep that consistency?
What
Absolutely.
kind of projects are you referring to?
She said, we're asked what kind of projects are you referring to? Is there anything you can share with us?
Yeah, on a daily basis, we just acquired a building downtown that we have to do something with. We just moved the bus, all the buses out there. We're working on making that a classroom facility. We're working with a number of things. You know, it's just a daily thing that we're right in the middle of. Also, we're doing a online school. We're starting that, and I'm gonna stop there because I don't know, you know.
Don't forget about your remodeling you do.
Oh yeah, all of that, all of that. We're just, you know, I'm in the middle of all that. I'm a more of a facility person since I taught technology and everything, so I'm kind of overseeing the buildings and everything and kind of pointing things out, you know, just put my 2 cents in, but now the price has gone up, I'm putting my $2 in. It's not 2 cents no more, you can't get nothing but 2 cents, you know. So I'm throwing in a couple of bucks when I can here and there, just because I can see something by being an educator and kind of put my part in as far as from an educational point of view.
Well, we appreciate that, Mr. Bailey. We also appreciate your continuance to want to serve and everything that you've done as a board member up until now. So do you have any questions for us?
I do not, but I was going to ask, what do you think the city will be in 5 to 10 years from now? And just saying one statement, not the whole thing, you know, where, you know, and how, and I guess from the point of view of how you all are helping the school system, what do you want from us, you know, to kind of work together, I guess?
I don't know if I can answer that in one sentence. I mean, so many things popped up in my head, and all I could see, said in 5 years, all I could do is look out the window, and hopefully, we gonna see our downtown area grow. So, I don't know, Drew, can you sum yours up in one sentence?
I mean, I'd like to see a decline in population, increase in population. I would like to see more citizens having more opportunities with business and industry coming back to our city. I think that's on the 5-10 year plan for moving our city forward. And of course, the city schools are paramount to that. With the city moving forward with the PR department, and I know the city Board of Education has also got a PR department, stopping the leakage, meaning that we've got to compete with the places where people are starting to live, which would be Chelsea. We are very competitive with Chelsea scores. So we got to get the word out. And I think moving the needle on getting more PR and visibility to our city is where I think all of us want to see us go.
Absolutely, and every time I plug Sylacauga, you know, sometimes I have to spell it wrong, but I still plug it, you know, and promote it in any way I can.
There you go. Thank you.
Well, we
Thank
do
you.
appreciate that, Mr. Bailey, and I was, mistaken, we will make a decision on this at the, what date is that meeting, Cassie, when so at the next council meeting this month, we will make a decision on the Board of Education.
All right, thank you.
So we're doing all the Board of Education interviews tonight.
All right,
Thank you, Mr. Bailey.
thank you. Can I stay in or do I have to?
You have to leave out, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's all right. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, you don't have to, but we're asking you to.
Okay.
Thank you.
Trying to get everybody out.
Did we get confirmed if they didn't mark for any?
No, they're outside.
Is Kermit?
Yeah. Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
CDA?
I think Kermit was next. Is that the lit?
She's on 16.
Huh?
I got this one.
Jessica Edwards, that's not the schedule, hold on.
I've got Jessica.
It's fine, we're not gonna worry about it, hold on, I don't even know if I went over hers
Because I'll be
yet.
out of town. the next
Huh?
one.
I'm sorry,
I got moved to this time because I'll be out of town for the next one.
it's okay, alright. So you're gonna have to bear with us, I didn't even look over your application, so we're gonna do it together. I'm sorry, Cassie. I had her on the next one, alright. So Jessica, thank you for coming. My name is Tiffany Nix, this is Laura, Barlow Heath, Nate Brewer, and Greer Visick Nunn. But Nate won't be,
She's commercial development, she didn't put in
Oh.
Board of Education.
okay, CDA, I'm sorry, see, I told you I'm winging it. So Nate will be, helping, we just get your application. So go ahead and, while we get your application, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself. You can start with personal, then go into the professional.
Okay, so my name is Jessica and I've lived here after college for the last 15 years. Came back to start our family here and get married, and I have a daughter going into the 8th grade and a son going into the 4th grade. And I am a nurse. I work at the hospital as the Women's Services Director. And I just started that a few months ago, so I'm happy to be here locally and working with people in our community.
Okay, and you know what, and I've heard good things about you. It's nice to finally put a face with the name. So I'm excited.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll just go ahead and get right into it. So tell us about, what's your, why are you interested in serving on the CDA?
So now that I work locally, I have been wanting to get more involved in some way. So I thought this would be a good opportunity because I think the growth of Sylacauga is very important and it's something that I care about. So I felt like it was a good chance to have some input and ideas and things like that.
Okay, so what experiences or skills or perspectives that you have that you think you could bring to this position?
So I have a lot of experience in serving on different committees, boards, groups, and different projects through work. And I get to work with different types of people. We work on different initiatives. And through that, of course, working with different people and have different ideas, you have to learn how to adapt but work towards a common goal. So that's something that I have had the opportunity to do and I think would be relevant to this.
Okay, all right. Let me ask you this. So can you describe a time where you, as you said, you know, you've had to work with a group of people and you had to, say you had to help make a decision where you had a group of people on this side and you had another group on this side, but you had to help everybody come to a common ground?
Yeah, so I think when it comes to that type of situation, dealing with even just staff and leadership, that's something that I see a lot, and you just have to look at what the common goal is, whether it's what you want to do or not, and whether you're technically choosing a side, as I would say. It's what's best for that certain opportunity, for that situation. And it's not looking at what you want, it's looking at the pros and cons of all sides and where you can meet in the middle to come to an agreement.
Okay, so have you had a chance to, have you had a chance to attend one of the CDA meetings yet?
I have not.
You haven't?
No.
So, I was gonna ask you something. That's okay if you haven't, it's okay. Or you can go ahead. Or Laura.
What about Nate?
I keep forgetting you. Nate.
Go ahead, I'm fine.
You go first if you want to, because
I know you worked at Grandview for a while, Jessica, and we're so glad to have you back home, but you said you work for the hospital, but you're actually a director. So go into detail what your day-to-day may be as the director. Is it women's services?
It is. So it's different every day. I have a lot of things that are always on my to-do list that I'm constantly working on. So I deal with the budgeting, the staffing, and with a lot of education too, and bringing that and making sure that my staff feel competent and they feel comfortable giving the care that they need to give every day. So I work with them, and then of course, different physicians and making sure that they have what they need to be able to deliver care that's appropriate.
Right, and I'm sure that whenever the board meets, you should be able to make arrangements to get that. Actually, that should be an issue.
Yeah, I've been very pleased so far with
Sure.
it. I've been able to be so flexible now
Right.
with this current position, and it's great because
Yeah.
I can get done what I need to get done, and if I need to leave and go do something, I can, and I can always come back if I need to.
And I think they meet around 5 or 6 o'clock anyway, so that's usually by the time
Yeah,
y'all leave.
That's totally fine.
So-
I usually leave by 4, sometimes 5, it just depends on the
Right.
day.
I got you.
All right, you answered my question that I was gonna ask. I said, glad Nate mentioned that you are a director, so you already have experience with, going over planning and managing budgets.
Yes.
Since you have not been been able to go to a CDA meeting, what do you see the role of CDA is?
I think finding the opportunity for growth in this town, and I think what's really important is that it aligns with what we all love about the city. There's something special about it. That's why so many people end up coming back here, or whether they go to school or they move away but then come back. But it's just that sense of community and small town feel, but also bringing different opportunities for growth or things to the city that we haven't previously had. Or if we've had it and it's gone, and maybe come back. So,
How do you think you could, what do you think you could bring to the table to help with that initiative?
I think just all of my experience with work has been helpful, but then also living here and raising a family here. And I mean, I went to school here too, so seeing different sides of it and knowing what's important to people in this community and just talking to them, and I have a good relationship with a lot of different people, and I like to get input from different people, from different ages, different walks of life, and I think that's important to be able to bring all of that into the table.
So the CDA is truly the economic arm for the city of Sylacauga. I mean, they're going out and talking to outside entities and businesses, and industry is also handled by another board, but in some ways, industry as well. Getting out there and networking. Would you have the time to facilitate some of that?
Yeah, I think so. I think I could make that work.
All right, I'm sitting here looking at your, resume, Jessica, and I see your maiden name is, Gardino, so it's like you are a hometown
Yeah.
person. I said, I remember,
Yeah.
Miss Gardino, she taught a
Yes.
few of my kids, so
Yes.
that's the same family too.
It is, yeah. That's my stepmom.
Yeah, and I do again apologize for not, already having to go over this.
So that's okay.
Laura, do you have any questions for Jessica?
Well, Jessica, I know that you are very well networked, and with your large network, I know you went to Alabama, you have lots of friendships from there. Do you think that that can help bring things to the table for the CDA for future development for Sylacauga and economic growth?
Yeah, I think so. And just because, just not only with college, but even just my previous working relationships and talking to people from different areas and hearing like what they have and what I think would be good additions to the city are super helpful.
I know anytime somebody applies for the CDA, they always have there's always a reason. They always have this one thing that they want to see happen or something that they want to see in Sylacauga. What is that one thing for you? What is that one thing? What does that look like to you?
And I don't feel like I have one thing specifically, but just more things I think on the entertainment side and being able to get out with my family, and not just us and our kids, but me and my husband and our friends, and being able to enjoy things here and not have to go elsewhere for that.
And that's the perspective that, if selected, you would like to bring to the board?
Yes.
Right. Okay, well, that's good. Do y'all have any more questions for Jessica? Well, Jessica, we do appreciate your,
Thank you.
willingness to serve, and thank you so much, for applying. Do you have any questions for us?
I don't think so.
All right, well, thank you so much.
Okay,
So,
thank y'all.
on the
Thank you.
CDA, I've been telling people wrong, but we are gonna be able to make a decision on this one at the next council meeting, this month. So we'll do all Board of Education, all CDA tonight, right, Cassie? Am I saying it?
No,
CDA
CDA will be
Ah,
the first one in July.
That's all we have then.
That's
I know
okay.
what I'm talking about.
That's
All right, so that one will be it'll be in July.
Okay.
All right, okay.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you.
Thank y'all so much.
Thanks, Jessica, good to see you.
You too.
Next, I have Kermit.
Okay,
Just Board of Education.
yeah, y'all know when I get thrown off, it don't take but one thing to throw me off. Welcome again, Kermit, how are you?
Good, there we go.
All right, so again, we met before the meeting. I'm Tiffany Nick, this is Laura Barlow Heath, this is Nate Brewer, and this is Spirit Bisignutti. So we're gonna go ahead and start the interview off by, just introduce yourself to us. Tell us a little bit about yourself personally, and then go into professionally.
Well, I moved here and I started working here in 2018 with Lifesaver over at the airport, and moved the family here in 2020. My wife Haley works at Indian Valley. She started working there in 21. Born in Talladega County. I left here when I was about 10, 11 years old, and still have family in the area. And then my parents moved to Mississippi, went to college at Delta State University, and then Mississippi National Guard for 16 years. So got to do a lot of traveling with that, and ended up working professionally as a pilot offshore. I did police work. I've done TV and ENG or police and TV. Worked offshore for a while, and then I started working in EMS in 2015. So I've been working emergency medical since 2015, and was able to pick this job up when it came open because I was familiar with the area, and commuted for several years, and we decided to move here and make a life here in Sylacauga.
Oh, wow. I'm telling you, when I was reading your resume, I was like, man, I said, this guy has done everything.
A little bit, yeah.
You've been a lot of places.
A lot of places.
Like, you've already lived a whole lifetime. This is a pretty impressive resume.
We'll talk anything you want to talk about.
And you did say your wife she teaches in the Sylacauga City School System?
Yes, ma'am, second grade.
Okay, you did say that. And how many children do you have?
I have three. I have an 11th grader, an 8th grader, and a 4th grader.
Wow, good luck.
Yeah, all boys.
Wow, good luck. Okay, so, and you are, applying for the Board of Education, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so, tell us why the Board of Education? Why is this the board that you would like to serve on?
I have been involved with education since the day I was born. Both my parents worked at the Alabama School for Deaf and Blind until we moved. So they met and moved here in '78. And so I've been around classrooms my whole life. When I wasn't helping my mom out in her classroom right before school started, I got married to a school teacher, and it just kept going. So I've always been in the classroom helping out, trying to volunteer when I can. And I saw this as an opportunity to do a little bit more involvement. So I've been around the education process, hearing it on the backside, the school teachers at home, hearing everything around school teachers my whole life.
Okay, so out of all that I know, you said your parents were retired educators, your wife is a current educator, so out of everything that you've done, because you've done a lot, so what skills or perspectives do you think would help you be a good board member?
Well, my education is in management, and my experience is going to be with government, mainly government regulatory work. So my involvement with both flying with the Federal Aviation Administration and with the Army, I spent a lot of time with compliance, dealing with how do you deal with budgetary constraints while making sure you're in compliance with any type of regulatory work. And I think that's something I would bring to the table. I'm very experienced with that. It doesn't bother me to take a look, do deep dives into it.
Okay, so what about, how are you with making hard decisions? So if selected as a board member, how would you handle a situation to where, there's a situation that comes up, half of the board wants to, vote this way and the other half wants to vote the other way. So how would you kind of, I guess be a mediator and help everybody meet in the middle? How would you handle that?
There's always a path to making a decision. There always is. So we just have to find the common ground and be able to move past any constraints that folks see or help them try to see what you see. It's difficult. It does take time. Some people are I know can be very hard-lined and only want it done a certain way, but there's always going to be some type of give and take where we can push forward to get a decision made.
I'm pretty impressed by your resume, Kermit.
So I asked the previous person that came through, what do you find is the biggest challenge that the city of Sylacauga's Board of Education is faced with right now?
Well, I don't have the perspective he has, so I don't know what the,
Well, as a parent,
as a parent,
husband
from what I
and wife.
observe, because I have the kids are at our house a lot, and what I see as a challenge that we can meet is connecting the kids with some type of mentorship to get them the exposure they need to make good decisions. I see a lot of kids at my house. My oldest son plays football, so I get a wide variety, a good census of the community at my house hanging out. And it's just interesting to me of how many of the kids don't understand there's so much out there for them to go do. There's more than there is here in Sylacauga. There's things to go do. They're all capable. And, that would be a challenge that I think that we should meet is where do we go after high school? How do we make them productive members of society? If they come back to get involved, that kind of thing.
And do you feel that those are some of the perspectives that you can bring to the table as a board member?
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
That's it, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, Kermit, we, do appreciate you so much for coming in today, and we do appreciate your willingness to serve. Do you have any questions for us?
I don't. Any questions of me on the resume?
That's it. I'm just telling you, I'm impressed. I mean, this is a really good resume. So on the Board of Education, I'm probably gonna say this wrong again, but Heather's over here. We are gonna make a decision on this one at the next meeting. So this one won't move to July. We will make a decision at the next council meeting in June.
Tell him about me.
Oh, and Nate won't be a, part of that decision making because he's an employee for the, Board of Education. That's why he's sitting in the back.
Oh, right.
All right. All right, and Tim, he'll be able to go back and watch the videos and stuff and, he'll make his decision. All right,
Any questions of me?
that's it. Thank you, Karen.
Thank y'all.
It was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
We got Kadarius Davis next. Kadarius Davis.
Hey, Kadarius, how are you tonight?
Good, how are y'all?
Good. Welcome. So, I think you pretty much know who all of us are, but I'm still gonna go ahead and introduce, us. I'm Tiffany Nix, this is Laura Barlow Heath, this is Greer Missick Nate Brewer's in the back, but Nate won't be a part of this because he is an employee of the Board of Education.
Been back my whole life.
So Kadarius, go ahead and introduce yourself to us, just start with, personal and go into professional.
I am a husband, father, pastor, a community leader. I am professionally the president of the East Highland Schools National Alumni Association, and I also work as an appraiser with the Talladega County Commission Office.
Okay, all right. So, I asked everybody this. So, with all the boards you could have applied for, why the Board of Education? What's your interest in wanting to serve on the Board of Education?
I believe that education is one of the most important investments that we can make. Growing up in kindergarten, I used to tell my teacher, Miss Ellie Hepson, I said, when I grow up, I want to work in the Sylacauga City Schools. And I said that all of my life. I believe that I want to be able to ensure that our children receive every opportunity that they can receive. And I also want to be able to pour back into the school system that laid the foundation for my life.
Okay, so in your personal and professional background, what skills or perspectives do you think you could bring to the board, if selected as a member?
Well, first, I served for about 5 years, coming in as a long-term substitute teacher. I went on to work as an instructional assistant. So I know a little bit about things that go on in our classrooms and school systems, but also leadership, community involvement, and just a servant's heart. I have worked as pastor and president of a nonprofit organization, so I know how to work with budgets, planning, problem solving, and involving people to talk about other issues.
Okay, so, have you ever been to a Board of Education meeting?
Yes, ma'am. No, it's been a little while, but yeah, I have.
Okay, so how familiar are you with the roles and responsibilities of the board?
I know that the Board of Education works the governance, the oversight, the accountability of the school system. I know that they work with the superintendent, and they also ensure that things are well and organized for our children. And that I do not know, I'm more than willing to learn it.
I don't really have any questions other than, where do you see the school system in the next couple of years if you are appointed to this position? What do you think that you're going to do to change things?
I believe that there are two things that we can work on: preparing and retaining our next generation, and also stronger advocacy. There are a lot of people who have a lot of things that they love to say in private, but there are not many people who are willing to speak publicly. And sometimes even when there are situations that come up that may be touchy, when it comes to our students, we have to be able to address them, to handle them properly, and make sure that our students, our parents, our teachers, and everyone involved is heard.
So how would you handle a situation like that? Because if selected to be a board member, you won't interact, with day-to-day operations or with, students and teachers. Your job as a board member would be to interact with, the board and the superintendent. So how would you handle a situation like that if a parent or a student came to you with an issue?
I believe that successful leadership begins with listening, listening to people and what they have to say. I love to listen, to hear the facts, and first of all, I also am a man of prayer. I believe in taking it to God and praying about it, and listening to the facts and hearing what everyone has to say, and work to do what's best for the whole body as a whole.
So I missed the first thing you said, preparation and retaining, is that what you said?
Yes,
You'd like
ma'am.
to see the school? Is that-
Preparing and retaining our next
Retaining.
generation.
And when you say retaining, you mean retaining here to the city of Sylacauga, or what are you saying retaining?
Preparing them for what's to come and retaining them. A lot of times our students are not heard. That sometimes they feel like they may not be receiving certain things that they need. And our job is to, as I said, listen to the parents, listen to the teachers, but our students have a voice too. They have emotions, they have feelings, they have concerns, they have desires, and we want to be able to prepare and retain them by that way.
What do you think the biggest challenge is for our schools right now in the city of Sylacauga?
Going back to a moment ago, strong advocacy.
Advocacy. Okay, thank you.
That's all you have, girl?
Yes.
All right, and I think that's all I have. So Kaderis, we do appreciate your willingness to serve, and we do appreciate you taking the time out to come, and have this interview with us tonight. Do you have any questions for us?
No, ma'am.
Okay, all right, thank you. So on the Board of Education, I keep saying this wrong, we are gonna make a decision at the, this month, at the second meeting, the next meeting in this month. I thought it was gonna be moved to July, but we're gonna do all Board of Education interviews tonight.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, tonight. All right, thank you, Kaderis.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Make sure we ask the same question to everybody. Make sure we ask the
Next,
same
we have
question.
Cedric Bartley.
I wasn't giving any notes on how this was supposed to go, so.
That's just a lead, that's just a leading
I
thing.
told you about the same question. Hey Cedric, how are you tonight?
How are you?
Good. So I think you pretty much know who all of us are, but I am gonna go ahead and introduce us. I'm Tiffany Nix, this is Laura Barlow Heath, this is Nate Brewer in the back, and Drew Visignani. So it'll just be three of us conducting the interviews of the Board of Education, because Nate is an employee of the BOE, he will not be a part of the interview process. So we'll go ahead and start this off. I want you to just go ahead and introduce yourself to us, start with personal and go into professional.
Okay, I'm Cedric DeBartleben. I am a resident of Sylacauga, have been for many years. I have no kids, just nieces and nephews that are always out in this Sylacauga City school system. On a professional standpoint, I work as a studio manager of ear piercing, where we deal with younger youth and adults all the time, every day. And I also am the program director for a group called Photoground Foundation and a liaison for ATW Healthcare Solutions, where our founder is, she sits at the state seat for Illinois with their mental health preparedness, and she works with the CSSA CESSA, for y'all who don't know, is their centralized education for disaster, basically is what it is. They do disaster mental health readiness for people since COVID, post-COVID. A lot of people have had things that come up and they just have a big mental health. Through research, they saw a large amount of people needing help with mental health. So she sits in that seat. I was just in DC at the White House last week for sessions there on mental health, and we went through childhood mental health, and it's a really, really heavy thing that's going on, and bullying. So two things that I'm really big on in the education system and with the kids is mental health and the bullying.
Okay. So, and I know this is your second time applying for this seat too. So, tell us a little bit about why you want to serve on the BOE, on the Board of Education.
As I'm deeply rooted in this community, like some of you guys, I have nieces and nephews, no kids that are in this school system. I talk to my nieces and nephews, I talk to their friends, I listen to the things that they say, I listen to some of the things that the parents say. Since running for city council previously, so many parents now still reach out to me about things and for guidance with their kids, even in the school system, and how to operate and how to go about doing things. And I just try to keep everybody in our community rooted in not attacking the school system, because we have to work together as a community. And this position for me is deeply rooted because it's a position where the governing body connects with the school system, with kid success, making sure the teachers have what they need, making sure that kids overall are successful in their academics as well as in the workforce, because some kids do not go into higher learning, they just go into the workforce, and all of it's important. And so to tie it all together, and I think we need that in the community, and I can help govern those things and make it a more impactful board.
Okay, so have you ever been to a board meeting, Cedric?
Not the BOE.
Okay, so what do you, let me see how I want to ask this. So what do you think the role of a board member is?
The role of a board member, school board member in our area, through research, I do know that they're the governing body for watching over the finances, connecting the educators and getting them what they need and the resources that they need and the resources for the kids, as well as watching the books and balances to tie all this together for the success of the kids. And ultimately, at the end of the day, that's what we all need, and that's what we want, and we want to put the right person in position to do so.
Okay, so with that, with the research that you have, so, and I heard you say that parents and stuff still reach out to you. So with knowing what a board member does, you know what their actual duties, job is, how would you handle a situation when an angry parent called you about something, you know, her kids being mistreated, or she don't like something the school did? How would you handle that situation, especially since a board member doesn't deal with day-to-day activities, you know, and deal with employees on a, you know, every single day?
Yeah, so from a national level, we take this this class where it teaches you about how to calm a person, an individual in healthcare. And so that goes into mental health and to schooling systems and in general, where they teach you to always, different techniques to always calm down a person, where if someone's coming to you screaming, it teaches you how to lower your voice below theirs, to keep them calm, to bring them down and get them calm. And so a lot of times when I'm governed with the question of something going on in the school system, I always start with, tell me exactly what happened from your end. Tell me, what did the school say? And then I always say, let me see if I can find the resources that you need to get the problem handled. I may not be the end person or the end goal, but I may be able to get you the resource that you need to get the school to see something from a positive light that they don't see it because you're angry at them or angry with them when you go in. We have to understand that the school system works for our kids. They see so many kids a day. As a parent, as an angry parent, we have to also go to them with, on a respectful level and a tasteful level of taking care of our kids, taking care of the things that we want to hear for, want done for our kids, and to be able to listen just like they want to be listened to. And for me, I'm in the same direction with wanting to be on this board. I want to be able to listen to our kids, our parents, and our families, and the things that they need.
So let's say you're appointed to the school board.
Mhm.
Where do you see the board in 2 to 3 years after you serving? What will you bring to the table for the board?
So I want to, one of my biggest things, like I said, is mental health and bullying from a national level, just because the research shows that it is such a big issue right now. And I would like the board to move forward with that. Also, I would like to see us provide more resources and on the educational level to cover all areas. Because, like I said previously, not all kids go into higher education. Some kids just go into the workforce. And I think a lot of times when we have like school fairs and stuff, they miss a lot of the workforces. Everybody's not into higher education. And I think we would open up a broader school workforce to show the kids other things outside of the higher education with the higher education. When you go into those school things that they have at the school, you have 12, 13 colleges, 4 people in the military. You don't have a lot of workforce people there because some kids prefer the workforce over higher education. We have to be the liaison to tie that in, to give them those resources. Right now, we just, in DC, we talked about, right now, they don't have, Tennessee State and Mayberry have no African-American applicants in their MD DDS program. So right now, they have no African-American males in the medical program or the dentist program. So they're offering these kids, if you have a 3.5 and a 28 ACT score, you can almost finance yourself through med school, and it's a fast-track 7-year program to try to get more male African-American male doctors. We're at a very, very high deficiency rate with them, and we have some kids that actually want to go to school to be doctors and dentists, and they're limited too because they're in low-income families who can't afford med school, low-income households who can't afford med school, and so we need to be able to provide them additional resources outside of what they just get, and I want the board to be able to grow, to have those more, have the better resources for the kids, to show them that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and to be able to be successful in not just the local things that we have here or college. And those rides and educational goals for school can be met. It's not unattainable. And I think it just takes, like, our board members, more board members being more learned, having more resources. And I can be a very resourceful person from just my city and state level, but also my national level, because I have the people to go to when I need those, when I have those questions.
He's pretty much answered my questions. Okay. The challenge, I believe, was bullying and mental health.
Well, all right, so we do, appreciate you, your willingness to serve. We do appreciate you for applying and coming out to do this interview with us tonight. So do you have any questions for us?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay, so again, and y'all correct me, I keep saying this wrong, with the Board of Education, we will be able to make a decision at the second meeting in June, because we're gonna do all the board, applicants tonight.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
all right, thank you.
Next, you have Zach Mayo, he is applying for Parks and Recreation.
Okay. How did my stuff get, Hey, Zach, how you doing tonight?
Good, how are y'all?
Good.
Bet you know more about it later.
Yours in order? I think I missed my packet up.
Ain't none of it in order.
Who's this? Zach Mayo.
Zach,
Hey, Zach.
how are you?
Okay, all right, okay, just bear with us.
Yes, ma'am.
I think we all mixed up our packets. So, we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna introduce us and then let you go ahead and introduce yourself. So I'm Tiffany Nix, this is Laura Barlow Heath, this is Nate Brewer, and this is Group District 90. So, Zach, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself. You can start, personally, then go into your professional.
Yes, ma'am. My name's Zach Mayo. I've got 3 kids, Brooks, Baylor, and Bailey Kate, 9, 5, and 3. I've lived in Sylacauga going on 7, 8 years now. My kids, they've been involved, school systems and rec sports for going on 8 years. I work part-time at Con. I drive a concrete truck. I do some of my own business on the side.
Okay, so how many kids do you have? You only have two in school,
I've got-
now you said three,
I've got 3. I've got 2 that's actively in
and
school.
then one of those probably, I guess in a couple of years.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right, so Zach, out of all the boards you could have applied for, why Park and Rec? What's your interest in Park and Rec?
Park and Rec's that's where my heart's at. That's where my kids have been, like I said, for going on, this will be year number 9. Just, all the kids that I get to meet, all the families, the relationships that I've built over the years, starting with my oldest, now with my middle one, and eventually with my little girl. It's just, it really, the kids really touch me. I really enjoy being around the kids.
Are you coaching? Are you
Yes,
a
ma'am.
coach? What are you coaching, baseball?
Yes, ma'am, I got a 6U All-Star game here in about an hour and a half.
All right, what year are you in coaching?
I didn't coach for 1 year, so year 7.
Okay,
I've coached baseball, football, flag football, soccer.
okay, so have you ever been to a Park and Rec board meeting, Zach?
No ma'am.
Okay, that's okay. So, tell me, if selected, what does a member of the Park and Rec board look like to you?
Someone who oversees that the budget's handled correctly, oversees administrative policies and things of that nature. And just someone who gives an input, who has an input, just gives their take on things.
Okay, so what experiences, I know you said you coach, so what experiences or skills or perspectives that you think you could bring to, if selected, bring to the, Park and Rec board and help, make it successful?
I definitely get along with everybody. I like to think that I know the right resources if needed. If a problem arises, if I don't know, then I do know someone who can help or fix the problem.
Okay. So let me ask you this, what do you think the biggest challenges that our Park and Rec is facing right now? So if you could name something, like one of the challenges as far as Park and Rec, what would you say that is?
Well, right now, the hot topic is obviously here, we've kind of had, I guess, change of command, as we can call it, with our 2 new athletic directors. I think they've done a great job. They've had some hiccups here as of lately. We can call it a learning curve. It comes with the territory.
So how would you, if selected, I think we all know the issue that you're talking about. So tell me, if selected, how would you make sure this doesn't happen again?
How would I make sure it didn't happen
Yeah,
again?
so what would be your idea on to make sure, we don't have challenges or issues like that again? What ideas would you have?
To be honest, handling all-star situations in any sport, yeah, you're not gonna be able to pick the kids right off, but you can go ahead and have an idea of what you're gonna be wearing, uniform-wise, hat-wise, and go ahead and at least order something before you even get to all-stars.
Okay, so just better, just planning.
Just assistance in general,
Yeah. And
not
as far as
even,
being a parent and a coach, you could bring that perspective to the board.
absolutely, yes ma'am.
Okay, all right, Laura, you have any questions for that?
What's your driving force for getting, I know you said, you got 3 children, but what's your true driving force for wanting to join the Parks and Rec board?
It's not even my 3 kids that drive me. It's everyone else's kids. Because I can't tell you the countless parents that can call me to this day, their kids still call me. I had one call me last night and say, hey, I ain't talked to you in a while, but so-and-so's been asking about you. And I wanted to call, he wants to talk to you. Though that kind of stuff right there is what continues to make me want to help out, coach, be involved. is everyone else's kids, not just mine.
You know, if you're selected, it gets worse now.
That's all right.
Laura, you have more questions? No.
I know me and you work kind of the same hours. Will you be able to make most of the meetings
Yes, sir.
with your work schedule?
Yes, sir.
That's all I have.
Fair. So I'm clueless as to this situation you bring up about the biggest challenge for Parks and Rec, and I guess you're referring to just new people coming on into a position and they weren't necessarily ready for something. Is that what you're referring to?
Correct. And it's not, I mean, it is an issue, but it's not an issue. Like I said, they're both new. I think they've done a great job this season as a whole. Yeah, there's learning moments that come with it, but I still think just a little bit of help or guidance.
So Parks and Rec is a very big part of our community. And Sylacauga baseball is still the #1 sport in Sylacauga. And obviously it's a sport near and dear to your heart. How do you see the new rec center folding into the Parks and Rec? Because that's a big addition to your budget. And how do you see that?
Well, no, I mean, I didn't mean to cut you off, but, the new rec center will open a lot of doors to a lot of new things that we don't have anymore, as far as, an indoor pool. And everybody was up in roar about the pickleball courts. But, hey, every day when I drive by, every night, it is slap full.
You can't get out there.
I don't play pickleball, but it's slap full. You can't get out there.
You can't.
It's just, those things right there coming to Sylacauga, it will strengthen the park and rec community. We're doing upgrades to Beth Yates right now. The new park over here at Noble. All those things contribute to our parks and rec, and it makes our community better as a whole. Yeah, not everybody wants to go to the park, but you still see there's kids playing on those playgrounds.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so Zach, we do appreciate your willingness to serve and for you to take the time out to come and interview with us tonight. We know you gotta go, you got a big game tonight, so we do wanna wish you luck with that. But do you have any questions for us?
No, ma'am.
All right, well, we're not gonna make a decision on this one until July. So thanks again for coming out and good luck tonight, cause is this the first game?
Yes, ma'am. We got rained out last night.
Okay, well, good luck.
Yes, ma'am. Thank
Go
y'all.
Sylacauga. I don't know where Cassie is. Cassie, I think my schedule all.
Mine is too.
You may-
It got updated, when you gave me permission to move those 3 people, it got
I
updated.
don't even, okay.
But it is on your agenda,
Okay,
on your proposal.
Who's next, Cassie?
I can't find Sequoia Keith, so I have Wanda McElrath Fraser next.
okay, all right. Thank you, Cassie. Hey, Miss Wanda, how you doing tonight?
Fine, how you all?
Good. I'm gonna go ahead and introduce us. I'm Tiffany Nix. This is Laura Barlow Heath. This is Nate Brewer, and on the end is Brewer Bissignani. And I
Yes,
keep
ma'am.
forgetting to tell everybody, Tim Vincent isn't able to be here tonight, but he is gonna go back and watch the recording and listen to the interviews before he makes a decision.
Yes, ma'am.
This is board education.
Let me see. I think Miss Wanda applied for more than one thing.
No, ma'am.
Just the Board of Education?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, yeah. So Nate won't be a part of the interviewing process because he is an employee of the Board of Education, so
Yes,
it'll just be us 3. All right, so Ms. Wanda, go ahead and start by telling us, introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself. You can start with personal and go into your professional.
Yes, my name is Wanda McElrath Fraser. I'm from Sylacauga. I am the granddaughter of a school teacher. One-room school at the time. I am a lifelong learner, and I am a 30-year founding member of the Sylacauga Alliance for Family Enhancement. I graduated from Sylacauga High School. I was accepted to Troy while I was in the 11th grade, went on to Troy after the 12th grade, and with a band scholarship. While in Troy, as a student, I received an honorary music scholarship from the entire music staff. My career expanded. To be educated, when you're educated, you can use your education as you see fit or as the good Lord wants you to. Sometimes we have things planned for ourselves and the good master sends us other places. I have Homeland Security training from 2008. I've been a supervisor of security at Elliott City, Robinson Foundry under the Mr. Joe Robinson Jr., late Joe Robinson Jr., and Ricky Robinson, Master Brand Cabinets. I'm Karen Lee, a private security officer, having graduated from the Alabama Professional Training Academy in Montgomery. I'm a church member, having been a member of the Settlement Road Church of Christ. Believe it or not, at 10 years old, I was the church secretary. And went on, after I left to go to college, I was a secretary assistant to the most powerful dean, or most influential dean on campus, the late Dr. John M. Long.
All right, Ms. Wanda?
Yes, ma'am.
So out of all the boards you could have applied for, why the Board of Education? What's your, what made you decide to want to serve on this board?
Because I have a teaching degree, K through 12, and I'm also a student. I have been involved in 3 graduate schools, whereas when I applied, I only applied once and was accepted to Grand Canyon, to University of Phoenix, seeking a master's degree, that is, in adult education. I was accepted first time to Troy in the music industry department, but my professor passed away, so currently I'm in transit trying to figure out what to do since my professor, the late Robert W. Smith, passed away. So I'm educated and I don't mind studying. My brain is very active.
Okay, I was sitting here looking over your resume, and I also went over Sunday night, and it said that you were tasked with, you got a chance to meet Congressman Bill Nichols.
Yes, ma'am.
I bet that was exciting.
Yes, ma'am. Congressman Bill Nichols, 1971-72. Actually, I lost the president of the student council, but I accepted to be a part of the student council just to serve the school. And it was my colleagues or students who asked me or put me in charge to get a flag. The flag looked like it had been through the Battle of Jericho, whatever that is. And it looked hot, it was ragged. And so I didn't mind, but I was afraid to talk to Congressman Nichols. And my sweet mother, the late Mrs. Josephine McElrath, had worked for Congressman Nichols' parents. A little history, and I'm full of history now, of the Congressman Nichols' parents, dad rather, his father, was the leader of the Sylacauga Agricultural School. That's where you get the word Aggies from. It's Sylacauga High School in the Aggies. So it was her that said, go on up there and talk to him. He ain't gonna bite nobody. And I'm chilling like a Polaroid picture. I'm scared. But once I got up there, it was easy to talk to. He was a fine man. He loved veterans. Can I tell a funny story? Because I'm nervous.
You done this much.
Well, okay. It's a funny story, the true story that my mother told me about when she worked with Congressman Nichols' mother and father. Mrs. Nichols, the older Mrs. Nichols, not Congressman Nichols' wife, asked her to go to the car, please, to get something they were working on in the kitchen. My mother went outside. She saw a leg sticking up, just one leg. Now this is back in the 40s, honey. And this leg, I'm not gonna use an adjective because I don't wanna get put out. But there was a leg sticking up that didn't look like my mother. You get what I'm talking about? And my mother said, I didn't do it. It wasn't none of me. I didn't do it. And so Congressman Nichols' mother said, baby, honey, I forgot to tell you that Billy's leg was out there. So that's when she found out that Congressman Nichols had a prosthetic leg. Next.
Next question.
Okay. Me too. Okay, thank you for that. I don't think I'm gonna ever forget that. Thank you for that.
Yes, ma'am.
So, have you ever been to a Board of Education meeting, Ms. Wanda?
Have I ever been to it? But not to be honest with you, I don't think so.
Okay, that's okay.
But I can fit in. I get in where I fit in. I can fit in where I get in.
That's appreciated. So if selected, what does being a board member look like to you? What do you think your, day-to-day duties would be as a board member?
I would think you would have to, first of all, you need to be self-disciplined. And you would need to, I'm assuming in everything you have to have training in. And you need to be supportive of your parents. Because without parents, where in the world would this place, this city be? And then their beautiful children, where someday they're gonna be, helping us out. We may end up in a nursing home somewhere, and that little child you were nasty to might have to wipe your mouth or wherever need wiping. And so to be a member, you should be supportive of the superintendent, such as Dr. Michelle Eller, who's the superintendent of education, Sylacauga. You need to be supportive of her, and be a team member. I'm a team person. Like I said, I get in where I fit in where I get in. So you have to work with your colleagues. Sometimes it's best to be quiet and find out what's going on before you speak. I don't mind being a team person.
Okay, so, being a former educator and being educated in education, what would you say, the biggest challenge as far as our school system would be from your perspective?
The biggest challenge, and most people probably would say budget, but I'm not gonna say budget first. The biggest challenge would be our health care. If people don't have good health, or they don't have enough to eat, how in the world can they think? Because I'm getting hungry right now, and sometimes in church, my stomach be sounding like a bullfrog down there in Goodwater. So therefore, we have to have health care. We have to be conscientious about the discipline in school. Sometimes the children want to get in school and act out. Don't feel so bad about them. You don't know what that child may be going through. So that's why we have with SAFE, being a 30-year founding member of SAFE, we have external activities, external support groups that find out these things, pinpoint. That makes it easier on the teachers. Then they can come to school and concentrate, as the oldest say, you got to get your lesson.
Yeah, you're right, Ms. Wanda, because I can't function when I'm hungry either.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Laura, you have any questions for Ms. Wanda?
So if you're appointed to the school board, where do you see it in the next 2 to 3 years with your service? What do you feel like you can bring to the table in a shorter amount of time?
Well, I'm a motivator. You see, I can talk and I can get your attention, and I can do that anywhere I go. I would be extremely helpful in the more collaboration, a more solid collaboration with and for Dr. Eller. Because there may be sometimes she might not could be somewhere, and I'm in SAFE, involved with her project. So I would be able to be more collaborative, excuse me now, I got a piece of peppermint in my mouth, I'm not having a stroke. So, because I don't like bad breath. But anyway, I can be more collaborative with Dr. Eller and be there for her in case she's not able to meet, because the city council already coincides with the Board of Education anyway.
Okay, so it sounds like you do understand the
Yes, ma'am.
relationship the board does have to
Exactly.
have with the superintendent.
Willing
Okay,
to travel, I represent, I won't go out there and get on Facebook doing something I don't have no business doing. I will make you proud if I have to travel.
Well, glory.
Laura, you have any more questions for Ms. Wanda?
I think she covered everything.
All right, well, Ms. Wanda, we do appreciate your willingness to serve, and we do appreciate you taking the time to come and do this interview with us tonight. So
Yes,
with the
ma'am.
Board of Education, we do have some more interviews, but on this one, we will be making a decision at the, next meeting in June.
Thank you
you'll
so
have-
much.
You'll have an answer at the next meeting, and that's on what, Cassie, what day is that next meeting?
June 16th.
All right, so do you have any questions for us, Ms. Wanda, before you leave?
No, ma'am, I just want to thank each and every one of you for having me here and for the listeners for listening to me. May God bless all of you.
Thank you. You have a good day.
Have Ms. Keelan to read next.
Okay. Hey, Keelan, how are you tonight? Good. So I'm gonna start by just introducing us. I'm Tiffany Nix. This is Laura Barlow Heath. This is Nate Brewer, and this is Greer Visignani. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start the interview off by, you just introducing yourself to us and tell us a little bit about yourself. You can start personally, then go into your professional.
Okay, my name is Keela Three. I've been a resident here basically all of my life. I have 2 kids. Graduated Alabama State University, have a degree in criminal justice. I attend Pine Grove Baptist Church. I'm a member of different organizations at church. I've been with the Postal Service since 2013. I think I started carrying mail in 2013. And I went from there to supervisor, and now I'm a postmaster with the United States Postal Service.
Did it say Alex City?
Yes,
Yeah, that's what
I'm
I
in Lake City now.
All right, I know you have an impressive resume too. I said I was reading over and I just looked at this. I even made a lot of notes. I can't wait to ask you about my notes.
Okay.
So out of all the boards, well, you actually applied for
3.
3. The Board of Education, Park and Rec, and what was the other one?
Utilities.
The Utility Board. So just tell us a little bit about why you want to serve on these 3 boards.
Well, first of all, I'm gonna be an empty nester. So I needed something to do with my time, and I just want to get active in the community. I just see a lot of areas for growth, and I want to be a part of the growth for Sylacauga.
Okay, so with you applying for 3 boards, is there one that, that's your favorite, or you just want to be put wherever you can help?
I just want to be put wherever I can help.
Okay, all right. So, and looking at you, how many employees do you manage?
In Alex City, I have about 50 to 75 employees.
Wow, and I said with being the boss with scheduling and budgets and so on and so forth, you do know the importance of planning, managing, and understanding the budget.
Yeah,
So that is appreciated. And it seems like too, just reading over your resume, you have experience with dealing with grievances, and it shows that you can make tough decisions and can be a non-biased party, if you were selected to serve on any of these boards.
Yes.
Okay, so even with me pointing that, I don't even have to ask you the next question I was gonna ask you. So let's do the, have you ever been to a board meeting for any of these?
I've never, no.
Okay, so if selected, what would being a board member on any of these boards look like for you? Like, what do you think the responsibility of a board member is?
To serve, and just do whatever I need to do to assist. I mean, I'm just willing to help wherever I'm needed.
Okay. And I got a lot of my questions answered just by going over your resume.
Okay.
Yeah. Laura, do you have any questions for Keila?
I believe that, since she's got multiple, boards, what do you feel like you bring to the table? What do you feel like, let's say, for the school board? What do you bring to the table for the school board? What are you gonna make a change in the next 2 to 3 years if appointed?
With the school board, I just wanna, probably just diversity, and just bringing some different ideas to the, school system. With, now since I don't have any kids, but some things that I would wanna see, come to fruition. So whatever I could, just new ideas.
Did your kids come up into the Sylacauga school system?
He did. My son just graduated,
I think-
Sylacauga.
What's your son's name?
Kenson.
I thought I knew you. Your kid's mama, that's right. Okay, all right. Nick, you have any questions for Keila?
I know your work schedule is very busy. If you're appointed to either one of these boards, would you be able to make their meetings?
Oh, yeah, I'm a boss, so, yeah.
Okay. Sometimes just because you boss them and they let you go, so that's why I asked.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ms. Sweet, thank you for being here. Board of Education, Parks and Rec, and Utility Board all have different roles that they play, and they're all very important roles, of course. What do you find is the biggest challenge in each of those areas that you could bring to the table to make a difference?
The biggest, I'm sorry.
What could you bring to the table for each of those boards?
My
They're
willingness,
different.
well, my willingness to learn and my willingness to serve in any area. Whatever is needed, I can do it.
What do you think the biggest challenges are for our community right now?
I would just like to, as far as the community, I would just like to see us come together more as, the different diversities. I would just like us to be together more instead of separate. Because to me, it's separate a lot, but, you know, with everything that's going on, I always thought that Sylacauga was a great place to live, and I just want us to just remain closer. That's just like when we have the park or the movies out in I think that's a great idea, and I think for everybody just coming together, I like that.
So you just wanna be, a part of just, you know what I'm saying, that would be a park and rec board member, just, you know, helping, making sure we have more community events and so on and so
Yes.
forth, that we can just enjoy as a
For
community.
everybody, yes.
Okay, alright. Okay, so Keela, we do wanna, thank you for your willingness to serve, and thank you for just coming out, tonight and doing this interview with us, and I also wanted to ask you, did you have any questions for us?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay, so on the Board of Education, we're gonna make, a decision at the next meeting in this month, and the utility board. So those two will make a decision at the next meeting in this month, and then all the rest of them will be pushed to July, because we still have some interviews.
Okay.
All right, so,
All right.
hold on, before you leave, do you have any questions for us?
No.
All right, well, thank you, Keelan, and congratulations on getting an empty nester. I
Thank
don't know how you feel about it, but
Thank
it's
you.
probably bittersweet.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Next, we have Brad Porch for Sylacauga Utilities Board.
Hey, Brad, how you doing?
How y'all doing?
Good, good. So I think you know who all of us are, but I'm gonna go ahead and still introduce us. So I'm Tiffany Nix, this is Laura Barlow Heath, this is Nate Brewer, and this is Greer Bissignani. So Brad, even though we know who you are, but we're still gonna ask you to go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you. You can start with personal and go into professional.
All right. Brad Porch. I've been here in town since 1998. I've got 4 kids. They're all grown and gone and on their own now. Bluebell Creameries is where I work. I've been there for 30 years. Been on the utility board for 18 years.
Okay, Brad, I was looking over your resume, and I know I've gotten to know you over the 10 years I've been here, and I said, Lord, Brad doesn't even look as old as this resume.
Oh, come on, Miss Tiffany.
I said, Jesus, how old are you?
You're way too nice.
Oh, man, and we do appreciate everything, that you've done as the current board member. So tell us a little bit about some of the special projects that, the utility board has done while you've been serving.
Well, there's a lot of them.
You can just name a few, just name a couple for us, because I think, a lot of people, our viewers and listeners, they don't really know what board members do.
Right.
And I know you've been serving for how long now?
18 years.
18 years. So I know you've probably been through a lot of special projects.
I think some of the big ones that we've done has been, we have got a new well that we've discovered and capped, and it's ready to go out near Odina. So we've got our water supply in good shape. We've upgraded some stuff at the sewer plant. We have worked on line replacement here in town. About half the copper lines have been replaced. In the process of getting wooden poles out and getting back with concrete poles here in town for electric service. We put some electric service underground in our Green Hill area, which is kind of a hard area for us because of all the hills and the trees fall in storms, just like last night. We have some outages and we want to reduce those as much as we can. The fiber system has been upgraded. We've got another loop that went down towards Owens Mill Road. So we're always working on that.
Those are some of the things in the background that people can appreciate, but they don't even know that's happening
Right.
until, it doesn't work anymore. But you also serve on the Lake Howard Authority too. So y'all been doing a lot of, you've been a part of a lot of those projects that's been going on out there too.
That's a really neat area out there. We've gotten the new boat slips built out there. Billy Bean has been a wonderful guy out there for that job. And we need to work on the pavilions, I think, next. I know that Mr. Vincent was saying that some of those were in bad shape. We bought some equipment over the last couple of years out there to help with the grass.
I think that the most popular one, I'm gonna say this wrong, the one that cleans out the bank so, people can catch those catfish. I know Ms. Brittany
Yes,
called me
that's
about
the
that
one I
all the
was
time.
talking about, the one with the big grapple in the front
Yeah.
that picks up the grass and pulls it out, so. But we also restock the fish out there too every couple of years.
Okay, so it sounds like, even with your 18 years of service that, you've been able to, be here, you've been a part of a lot of positive things that have happened, not only from the utility board, but as far as the Lake Howard,
Yes, ma'am.
committee as well. So let me ask you this, so Brad, what is motivating you after 18 years to want to continue to serve?
Just the people at the board. I really enjoy working with them. We have a wonderful group of men and women out there at the board, and we just take pride in what we do, and I'm just proud to be a part of them. That's motivation for me.
Okay, so after 18 years, what do you think, what would you say your place is? Like, what do you think, if you had to say your expertise or your specialty, what would you say you brought to the board?
Just overall management experience, I'm not an electrician, I'm not a gas fitter, but, as far as people management and those kind of things, I think that's where I'm strong.
Okay.
I really don't have any questions. I've gone through your resume, and I know the work that you've done while you've been on the board, and I appreciate your service
Yes,
to
ma'am.
the
Thank
city.
you.
Do you have any questions?
I'm sure you can still get to all the meetings on time like you've been doing.
Sir?
I said, I'm sure you can still get to all the meetings on time like you've been doing.
Oh, yes.
Yes, sir.
When we change them. Bree, you have any questions for Brad?
Yes, what do you see as the biggest challenge for the utility board, right now that would impact our city and how to make those improvements that are needed going forward?
Short term or long term?
We'll start with short term.
Short term? It's just finding enough time in the day to get things done, I think, it's gonna be short term. Long term, would be probably power. We just signed a power agreement, that's for a 10-year term. There's 9 years left. So our power rates are locked in for the next, for a good long time. But after that, it's gonna be wide open to see what happens with power costs.
So we get our power through Alabama Power, but it's through a negotiated contract
Energy
that the utility
Southeast.
board
Yes, ma'am.
works hard to manage and maintain that good relationship, which allows us to have decent
Significantly lower than
utility
Alabama
power
I guess now.
rates, yes. Long term, how about the replacement of lines under our streets? Because that, the infrastructure is a big topic around here. How does the utility board work with the city to look at our infrastructure and the
Well,
lines that you guys have?
we do work close with the city, when we have a section of town that we want to go out and put some stuff underground, then we're gonna contact the city, and hopefully we can work it along when you got you doing paving. Because we don't want you to go out there and get a road paved, and then we have to come back in and dig it up. It does happen, I know it's frustrating, but a lot of times the paving, the stuff that we have, when you go out there doing a little paving, it's gonna make leaks and water lines and stuff you have to dig up, but, we always work with the city on this
You
stuff
have
as
to
far as
work closely
planning.
with the city.
So.
Thank you.
All right, so Brad, we do, appreciate your willingness to continue to serve, and we do appreciate everything you've done, for the utility board as well as the Lake Howard, Authority over the past 18 years. We also appreciate you taking the time out to come and interview with us tonight.
Thank you.
So do you have any questions for us?
Good.
All right, so on the utility board, we are gonna make a decision at the next meeting, in June.
Okay.
All right, thank you,
Yes,
Brad.
ma'am. Thank you.
We have one final interview with Anthony Womack.
Okay. Hey, Mr. Womack, how are you tonight?
It's a big crowd.
It is, but I don't think they're here for.
This is not all for me, is it?
All right, so, Mr. Womack, I know you've been attending a few council meetings, but I am gonna go ahead and introduce us. I'm Tiffany Nix, this is Laura Barlow Heath, this is Nate Brewer, and on the end, we have Greer Bisignato. So we want you to, just start the interview off by just telling us a little bit about yourself. You can start with personal, then go into your professional.
Okay. My name's Tony Womack. Only my mom calls me Anthony, and only when she's upset. So, I grew up in South Alabama, a little small town called Frisco City. You probably never heard of it. About 1,200 people. If you've ever read To Kill a Mockingbird, that's where I'm from. So
Okay.
Spent first 18 years of my life there. Went to college at Troy State. Left there and went to work for the FDIC. Worked there for 35 years, started out in Pensacola, Florida, moved to Montgomery, moved to Atlanta. Spent 25 years in Atlanta, just retired in 25. And my wife's family's from here, several generations. She said, "Can we move home?" I said, "Well, you said you want to, and you're the boss, so we're in Sylacauga." So that's kind of a short story.
So how long have you guys been in Sylacauga?
We've been here, we bought a home here in July, we moved here in October.
Okay. I bet that was a big change from Atlanta to Sylacauga.
Well,
Hopefully for the best.
600,000 to 12,000, yeah, it was a big shift. So, quite different living here, but it's also quite different living in 12,000 versus 1,200, so.
All right, so Mr. Womack, we see that you applied for two boards, the Commercial Development Authority and the Historical Commission. All right, so out of all the boards that you could have applied for, tell us why you want to serve on these two.
As far as the Commercial Development Authority, I told you I spent 35 years with the FDIC. My background is finance. I spent most of those 35 years working in the commercial lending area. If it has anything to do with a building, with an office, with a retail, housing, doesn't matter, I've looked at it. I've spent 30 plus years looking at credit, commercial real estate, commercial and industrial lending. And as part of that, spent a lot of time looking at city planning, tax allocation agreements, tax incentive agreements, feasibility studies, residential development, home, work, play, stay type developments, that type of thing. So I've spent a lot of years looking at commercial development. I also watched, coming from Frisco City, it was a very small town. I watched it over the years deteriorate for decades. When we moved to Atlanta, I saw two towns just like that. And over 25 years, because people got involved, commercial development, better city planning, saw those towns really grow, brought in a lot of new development, a lot of new housing, a lot of new people, a lot of tax money. And that's something that I want to be involved in. I watched my town deteriorate, and now it's starting to bounce back.
Okay,
And I
so
hated to see that happen, so I want to see that change.
Okay, so you're ready to use some of your professional experiences, skills, and perspectives and apply it to serving on the CDA. That's what you would like to do.
Right.
What about the Historical Commission?
The historical side of it, I've always been interested in. I've got a strong interest in history. The towns that we moved to and outside of Atlanta are railroad towns. A lot of history to those towns. Kennesaw, Georgia is the town that we lived in, and if you've ever heard of the General, it's a locomotive, there's a lot of Civil War history there. But again, those towns kind of took hold of their history and used that to grow and to bring success back to those cities. And I think history can do that. I think there's a lot of history here in Sylacauga, and I think it's untapped. I think there's a way to use that to grow the city, to bring back downtown. There's so many old buildings, old homes. We bought one of them. We love the area, and we just want to see it back to what it was before. I mean, we've been coming here for 35 years. My wife's family's probably 5th, 6th generation here. So what they knew Sylacauga to be and what it is now, I think there's a lot of room for improvement, and I'd like to be a part of that. So.
Okay. So have you had a chance to attend any of the board meetings for the CDA or the Historical
I
Commission?
have not.
Okay.
I've been looking for schedules, but it seems kind of difficult to find exactly where they are, and so, but
It's okay.
I'm working through, rooting through it, trying to find out information. So.
Well, that's all right. Maybe we can get with Cassie before you leave tonight, and we can probably get your email so she can send you over those schedules. And it's okay that you haven't been. A lot of people tonight that have come, they hadn't been either. But just from your point of view or your perspective, what does serving as a board member on either of these, what would that look like to you? What do you think your duties and responsibility would be?
Well, I think for both of them, I mean, what I've been looking to do the job that I had, I couldn't get involved in this kind of stuff. There were, not to get into it, but the clearance I had, I couldn't, from an ethical standpoint, I couldn't be involved in city government either way. And I always wanted to do that. And I think that through these boards, it gives me an avenue to do that. And again, like I said, I think the commercial development piece of it, the historical piece of it, in my mind, are closely tied together for Sylacauga.
And now you have the time.
Well, I just started consulting with the banking department, so I do have time. I will be here to do what I need to do, but I was retired for less than a year. My wife said go back to work, so I'm going back to work. So, but it's a consultant, so I can do what I want to do when I want to do it. But I just think, you know, that, like I said, I think there needs to be, or I think Sylacauga would benefit from having more of a focus on developing downtown or redeveloping, whatever term you want to use. And I think that the history of Sylacauga can be used to kind of ramp that up. And I think that's untapped, and I think there's ways to do that. So, like I said, I think tying those two things together, I mean, I already see in our area, I mean, people are coming in buying the older homes, and nothing works better than to make people knowledgeable of the history of the city, because when they're knowledgeable of it, they gain interest in it, and they want to see good, positive changes come from it. So I think that can happen here, and I'd like to be a part of it. So.
Or you have any questions for Ms. Paulette?
I think you covered everything. Very informative.
I don't have anything.
I think you've covered everything for me as well.
Okay, so Tony, we're not gonna call you only what your mother calls you. So, thank you, we do appreciate your willingness to serve, and thank you for taking the time out to come and interview with us tonight.
Thank you.
But before you leave, do you have any questions for us?
No, just let me know when to start. I mean, I've got the energy, and I want to be involved. I think I've got the background for it. I've spent a lot of time, you know, like I said, if it's got anything to do with commercial development, if I don't know it or understand it, I will learn it.
Okay.
So.
And thank you for also coming as much as you have and attending our meeting, so that's appreciated as well. So, on both of these, we'll make a decision in July. So, we still have some more interviews to conduct on these two boards, but we'll make a decision. It may be the first meeting, but possibly the second meeting in July. We're gonna try to get everything done and just, make a decision the first meeting in July.
Okay, well, thanks for working me in.
All
I'm
right.
sorry I was gonna be out of town. So.
No, you're fine. Thank you, Tony. All right, you have a good day.
Thanks.
All right. And that's all the interviews, Cassie? Okay. All right, it's 5:38. We're gonna go ahead and, get our work session started. I did ask Pastor Kadarius Davis to open us up in prayer tonight, so Pastor Davis, if you don't mind, just come to the microphone.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, for the privilege of serving. We ask you, God, tonight that you would grant wisdom to our leaders, bring unity in their discussions and guidance in all of their decisions. And help us, God, that all that is done today will benefit our city and its people. We pray that you will be glorified in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Davis, for that. All right, so first on the agenda, we do have, it's discussion only, our Director Judy Green of the Isabel Anderson Comer Museum to discuss a museum-sponsored event on July 4th, 2026 from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. in conjunction with other semi-quinceañeral, I always say that word wrong, 250th celebration of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. You doing all right tonight, Miss Judy?
We are.
You got a crew with you tonight, don't you?
Mayor, City Council, thank you for allowing us to speak today. I would like to take the opportunity to introduce Martha Washington and Thomas Jefferson. And I'm Betsy Ross. We are here today on behalf of the Comer Museum. They'll be hosting an event on July 4th celebrating the 250th year anniversary of America. We will be serving hot dogs, chips, drinks, with the help of several community partners, including the Lions Club, Radley Smith Funeral Home, Emery's, and the Historical Commission. So Americans know the 4th of July is a day to gather with friends and family for a barbecue and a night of celebrations. But as we celebrate our semi-quincentennial, this is the 250th anniversary of America, looking back at 250 years. America has shown the world a remarkable story. This is an important time to reflect on what freedom means to us. President John Adams declared that America's independence would always be celebrated with the pomp and parade, with shows, games, sports, guns, bonfires, and the illumination from one end of the continent to the other. Thomas Jefferson will read excerpts from the Declaration of Independence from 11 to 3 as we gather at the Comer Museum that holds the history of Sylacauga. We celebrate unity, dedication, spirit, and independence of very different people choosing to unite as one nation. So we hope you'll join us that day as you'll get to visit with Martha Washington. You'll get to hear Thomas Jefferson read, and I'm still preparing our flag. Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have, this is discussion only, the Greater Humane Society of Birmingham to address animal control options along the Highway 280 corridor and its surrounding businesses and areas. So at this time, we do want to welcome the Greater Humane Society of Birmingham. You guys just come up to the podium. And you can bring whoever you would like with you. They can come with you.
How are y'all doing? It's nice to meet you. I'm Allison Black Cornelius, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the Greater Birmingham Humane Society. Thank you for inviting us to come and address you tonight. Mayor, I appreciate it, and Madam Chairman, I appreciate it as well, and the rest of you. And did y'all all come out here for to hear?
Absolutely.
Is this for real? Or are you just trying to make us feel good?
No, literally.
I like, they're probably here to see Betsy Ross, because I was kind of impressed. So let me kind of give a little background about GBHS and then tell you just the one meeting we kind of did have out at the scene of where this problem is with the dogs. So the Greater Birmingham Humane Society is the 10th largest animal shelter in the United States. We serve about 40,000 animals a year. GBHS manages animal care and control for Jefferson County. We also manage it for Pell City, which is for St. Clair County, and for the city of Jasper and Walker County. We have an adoption center in Jefferson County that is located, if you've ever been there, like y'all call it Snow Drive, and you think it's in Homewood, but it's actually in Birmingham. And then we have the largest warehouse in the United States. It's about a 27,000 square foot warehouse. That warehouse is across the street from Snow Drive, and from there, that's where we store dog food, cat food, supplies, and for a pet pantry that serves people at risk of losing their pets, mostly seniors, veterans, chronically ill, homebound people. We also use that facility as our emergency management base. We serve as Alabama's emergency response unit during a natural disaster, for example, a hurricane, a tornado. If something like that happens, we have an entire veterinary team and a big mobile unit that we're very grateful that the state gave us many years ago, and we're able to go to the scene and secure any loose dogs so that first responders can get there safely and help people, because a lot of times after a tornado hits or hurricane hits, that's one of the first problems we see is roaming dogs that are frightened or injured. We really need to get those out of the way and get them treated and get them helped so that our human heroes can get in there and help people that may be injured. We also respond to any man-made disaster in the state. What we would call a man-made disaster is hoarding cases, dog fighting cases, puppy mill cases, anytime where a chief of police or sheriff is having to go on a scene and they have multiple animals at one time. Most of the time in the 67 counties of Alabama, very few of those counties have the budget or the resources to do an on-the-scene processing where we actually do it on the scene. We do the photography, our vets are there, the vet unit is there. We're able to weigh, tag, check for microchips, collect evidence, do what we call scribing that evidence, get all of that collected while we're on the scene so that at the time the veterinarians leave the scene, we can leave the chief or the sheriff or whatever investigative authority, if it's the federal government, we can leave them with all of that evidence pretty much when we leave, and then follow up once we get the animals back to the hospital with any that need immediate care. So that would be what we call man-made disaster. So that kind of tells you about GBHS. We have about 100 employees. I brought tonight with me our Chief Financial Officer, Catherine Lynn. Stephanie Pate is our Chief Staff Officer. Our Chief Program Officer is Ivana Sullivan. Ivana, you stand up, because she's really what I would call our mission delivery side. Mission support is the people that make sure that we steward our donors and steward our money correctly, handle our marketing and our online, all that type of stuff, HR. But most everything we do is the mission delivery side. We're really blessed that we have a hospital. It's located in Hoover. We train fourth-year vet students from most of the vets, any vet school that's in the SEC, and that's because I'm an SEC fan. If you are a vet student and you are not in the SEC, I probably would not let you come here to be trained. I'll be frank about that. I'm just kidding. Okay, I was just a joke. The hospital, we have our Chief Medical Officer is Dr. Russell Johnson. He is the person who came here a couple of weeks ago in the rain and surveyed the scene with one of our animal control officers, our most experienced ones, Mary Beth, and went to the 280 site where y'all are having these issues. He could not be here tonight, but that entire veterinary team, we have licensed veterinary technicians, veterinarians in the hospital, and that hospital provides all the spay neuter for our animals, all the medical evaluations for our animals in all of those places I mentioned that we do management. And then we have a mobile medical unit that we were really blessed to get last year from our donors. We brought it here to do vaccine clinics, and we use it for spay neuter, for rescue organizations that can't afford it. And also out of that warehouse, we provide dog food and cat food to our rescue organizations in 23 counties, and impoundment facilities in those counties who may not can afford to feed the animals that are in their care with their city budget or with their county budget. And we just learned that was a really smart thing to do because people would tend to bring animals into Jefferson County because they perceive us as having more resources. So we learned that if we support the rescues and we support the impoundment facilities, they'll tend to do a much better job of getting those animals rehomed in their own communities or transporting them up north. We transport probably 60 to 100 animals a week up north. Some of you in the audience are probably very familiar with transport systems. The reason we're able to do that is because several northern states have mandatory spay neuter laws, and so you have a shortage of adoptable shelter animals, which is hard for me to even fathom. And they oftentimes need animals for people to adopt, and we have too much of a supply down here. So the demand is there and the supply is here. And so that's why we run a pretty robust transport system every single week up north to several states. I wish we didn't have to, but we do. So with all that said, we went to see, and we have had many experiences with trapping packs of dogs. We've also, unfortunately, had way too many experiences in the state of Alabama with dogs killing citizens and, frankly, doing other things, mauling them, severely injuring them. We've had way too many attacks in the last 36 months in the state of Alabama, way too many bites. And it's coming because we have an overpopulation problem, and the policies of our state and policies of our county and city are not effectively addressing the overpopulation problem. You put that with an economic pressure on some families, or evictions, or divorce, or domestic violence, or anything that could happen to any one of us, and people will tend to do something we call dumping, or dump their dogs. If they dump an unaltered dog, unaltered dogs do what we do when we're single and unaltered, they date, and they create more of themselves. And that's the problem that we encountered at 280. I'm going to be frank to tell you this. We've been all over the state and helped many people. We have not seen a case like this ever. We actually, after we left, you guys called some national resource groups to get some advice from them. I mean, we've seen some packs, but what makes your case, and I'm sure y'all already know this, what makes your case unique is that you have multiple factors at play that are really making this almost like a free buffet 24/7 with private ways to travel, lots of acreage, lots of population, people that are coming through that probably don't even live in Sylacauga. When we were there that morning, we saw 18-wheel drivers pulling up and throwing food out. The dogs are able, as you know, to traverse using the tunnel system. They have access to water, they have access to woods. Put on top of that, that you have an unhoused population that appears to have a camp out there, and they may be contributing to the feeding as well. So you've got a social services issue there that we'd have to look at. But it was very interesting to walk that amount of acreage and to look at it from the Google Earth perspective and try to start to get our head around the problem that you guys are facing. But we want to help you if you want us to help you, because I'm very concerned, and Dr. Johnson's very concerned about what we believe is a situation that may be building up to a tragedy, and we don't want to see that happen. I did confirm with some of your businesses that the dogs are starting to get, which is not uncommon. The pack is getting, they're getting more aggressive. They're going into the businesses when the doors open. They're fighting more for the resources, which is not uncommon. It's not because they're starving, it's just because that's the mentality that starts to develop. And when Dr. Johnson and I left that day, we both talked about how our number one priority would be to make sure that we try to keep your people and your children safe and the people that work there safe. Because we've seen that situation a bit smaller scale, not involving a major highway, which also complicates it, because normally we're able to get the police to shut down a street. We can get some streets shut down so that we can do a trapping operation. I don't see 280. The only place it shuts down is in front of the summit. But I don't think anybody's going to voluntarily shut 280 down for you guys. So we really looked at it from a serious perspective of how can we help you all get this problem under control. And then from there, you're going to have to, if we can be successful at this, you have to really work hard for it not to repeat itself, so that you don't end up in the exact same situation in a few months. You're in the perfect temperature right now for that colony to get bigger and bigger. We counted around 25 the day we were there. We think it may be more around 40. But we do think we can help you. And we can submit to you, I think, a much more detailed proposal once we do recon. And the recon phase is where we put out game cameras. We start trying to get an idea of which tunnels are they favoring, what time is it that they're going out to eat. And I hate to compare it to this, but it is very similar to a wildlife management situation where we want to see, are they eating mostly in the morning? Are they eating morning and sunset? What tunnels do they favor? Where are they bedding down? Are they bedding down in 4 or 5 different areas? So we've really got to do some recon, and we're going to need the support of law enforcement to make sure that if we do put those resources out, if we put the game cameras out, and we use drones, and we would use drones, that they are secured. Because sometimes when you're doing these type of operations, people who have a heart for animals just like we do will sabotage the units because they are afraid that if the animals are caught, they're going to be euthanized, which I totally understand that fear. Obviously, we would not have any say over that, because if we catch the animals, they would be impounded at your facility, and from that point, it would be y'all's decision what happens. We would certainly be happy to give input, and we would support Stephanie, your shelter director, in any way we could to help her do behavioral evaluations. We would help her with veterinary care, and we would help her placing the animals in the best way we can. We just can't house them at the shelters in Birmingham because we're full. But we would provide support to her. But Dr. Johnson, just from a cursory look at it, the thing that we've learned a lesson about is not unlike what wildlife management had learned when they first started trying to deal with feral hog population. When you try to piecemeal trap, you train the pack. So what we don't want to do is go in and start trapping and teach the other dogs, because they actually have sentinel dogs. They have the alphas, and then they have the ones that kind of watch everything and then send memos back. I call them the Gladys Kravitz of the pack. And what we don't want to do is teach them how to avoid the traps. So I agree with Dr. Johnson and Mary Beth the day they looked at it, that if there is a way to do 1, 2, maybe 3 simultaneous mass, what we call a mass trap, where you almost like you drop a pin. It's a very large enclosed not unlike the ones you see when you're trying to catch hogs. You have to be very careful with it. You have to use a remote with it. Veterinarians would have to be on the scene when we do that, but the first thing we have to do is start tracking how they're moving and where they're eating. Then we would be able to tell law enforcement how to shut down the feeding. Because if we don't shut the feeding down, they're never gonna be able to be caught.
That's right.
So, and I'm gonna tell your community this, and my staff will back me up. I have been to the scene of deaths of people who have been attacked by dogs that they were feeding. More times than I wish to count. And I have been to visit families who have been mauled or individuals by animals they were feeding. It's usually the feeders that get attacked. I don't know why, we don't really know what it is. It could be that a feeder goes out, throws the food out, the pack gets very excited. The more excited they get, they can tend to trip a feeder up, the feeder falls. And that's oftentimes when we get to the case, that's what's happened. So it's not usually just this random citizen, it's the actual people that are trying to help the animals that end up becoming the victim of a bad situation, because as the animals start to compete more, they can get around your ankles, around your feet, and they can trip you. And once you fall, it's a real problem. So it's really important to Dr. Johnson, and I'm gonna say this on his behalf, that we do this in a way that's safe. And especially, we do not want to see an animal run out into Highway 280 and cause any sort of an accident or wreck. So we're going to try our best after recon, because we think the recon is going to show us that we can set up feeding and try to get them to start eating. It's going to take a while, away from 280 on the Home Depot side, and if necessary on the public side, and start getting them to where they are reliant on that feeding area, and we can get them doing that for about 2 weeks and then do a big simultaneous drop. That should catch a lot. We'll still have a few stragglers, and that would be when we would use missy traps. That would be when we would use those traps for those kind of lone stragglers that we have. But if y'all don't shut the feeding down, it's not gonna work.
That makes sense.
I mean, I'm just,
That's period paragraph.
I'm really want to tell you guys and ladies, I'm really pleased that you did not go in the other direction. That made the news. I know that wasn't fun, and I'm sorry y'all went through that, because I've been through that myself. It's not fun to get a million emails and phone calls and to be called a lot of yucky things. It's awful. And I'm sorry you went through that, but I'm really grateful that you didn't do it, because we've had to educate a lot of law enforcement officers that the worst thing you can do is to shoot a gun into a pack of dogs. And it does not usually turn out the way you think it's going to turn out. So we've done a lot of good education with police officers and deputies about, unless you're Keanu Reeves in The Matrix, and you've got some sort of like tank, please do not do that, because all it takes is one dog that gets hit and decides not to run and attacks one of these officers, and if the others direct onto that officer, you have 5 officers standing there that cannot help him because he's covered with 9 dogs.
Well, that option's off the table. I don't even think it'll ever be brought up again with.
Then I'm glad to hear it. So
We're not discussing that at all, but.
So I'm glad to hear that, because it was a smart thing to do.
I do have a few questions though, if you have time.
Oh, of course.
So, and I was just listening to you, so you were saying the recon, the first step in that, you guys would have to mobilize, I guess, some cameras to do some evaluation just to see where to set up the traps. So is traps the only thing that's a part of catching them, or is there some sort of darting involved?
If Dr. Johnson and the animal control officers that are licensed to dart, if they decide to dart, they would only dart if we feel very confident that the darted dog does not run into Highway 280.
And how long, once a dog has been darted, how long does it take for that to?
That's a great question. That's a great question. It depends. People have this idea that no matter how much you load, Dr. Johnson is the one that has to load the dart with the sedative. You think you would hit this dog and it would drop. It doesn't, because their adrenaline kicks in, and when the adrenaline kicks in, it enables them to run. We would, in this case, use a GPS tracker dart so that we know where they go, but that is not our first concern. Our first concern is that they don't run
into traffic.
Right. And somebody tries to swerve, and then you have a tragedy happen like that. So that is Dr. Johnson's concern about the darting. He would want to be absolutely sure that we had it we could control a run into 280. That's his fear on that.
So up to how long, like, for it to go in effect? Like, how many minutes does it take?
I mean, it can range from 5 minutes, it can go to 15 minutes, it depends. It depends on the health of the dog, it depends on the size of the dog. They often will go somewhere to lie down. A lot of people have said, well, why don't you just sedate them? Why don't you just start feeding them a sedative and over time they'll slow down? But what tends to happen is if we do try to use a sedation method over time, we would have to sit and watch to make sure who is actually eating the sedated food, because the alphas are gonna eat every bit of it. So you're not necessarily gonna get 20 dogs to eat one meatball per dog, it just doesn't work like that. And they do tend to wanna go off and just kind of do what we do. If you've got to say, just go to bed and go find somewhere to go to bed. So it isn't like they'll just keep interacting with us. So I think after recon, we're gonna know a lot more about what's gonna be the best effective methodology for how we get them trapped. And we probably will only get 1 or 2 shots at the trap method, because once they see it and learn it, they'll know. But I think after recon, your next challenge is the feeding.
So it's kind of like, and correct me if I'm wrong. So it's kind of like 3 different methods. So we would try after the recon, we would try the trap method, the feeding method, and are you saying the darting would be?
You would try recon first, and then I think once we learn what they're doing, where they're going, I think Dr. Johnson would want to start trying to set up what we call feeding trap stations and teaching the dogs to get away from 280 as far as whatever land, however the furthest boundaries are, over by Harold or wherever it is. Get them to where they start going to eat as far away from 280 as we could possibly get them. So feeding is actually after recon. And then once we get them going into that trap and they're eating, that's when we would drop a trap on a group, because they're in there in a group and they're eating. It wouldn't just be one trap, it would be multiple traps, probably on both sides of 280.
So would you be able to do that from Birmingham, or would somebody have to be, like, would somebody be on site to do the trapping?
Once we learn their past, once we learn sort of their habits, we wouldn't want to drop the trap unless somebody was here. Dr. Johnson or somebody would want to be here at the time of the drop. If we start to realize that they're very predictable, they really are. Because they're going to go where food is. So if let's say that they're most of the time eating from 6:30 to 8 in the morning, that's when we would try to have somebody on site for trap day. But we're not going to know until we have that imagery, till we know what they're doing. And it may also involve us, and the ditches, the tunnels, because just driving up here today, they were coming out of that tunnel right there at the parking lot.
I got a crazy question though. So the food that they're gonna eat, is it the same stuff that's in the dart? The food that you're gonna, what does that do? Like, do they pass out immediately after they eat the food, or is it the same?
No, we just get them eating in a particular space, and when enough of them are in that space eating, you drop the trap.
So the food you're not putting anything in the food?
If you start sedating the food, my concern is you're not going to get the pattern behavior. And it's Dr. Johnson's as well. Is if they start being sedated, we're not going to really know what their typical pattern is, because they're going to be drunk.
Okay, I think I heard you wrong, because I thought you said something about a meatball.
We talked about it, but I think we talked about many things that day when we realized it. Yeah, but I think he's correct. And we called some people nationally, and when we showed them the Google Earth map, they agreed with his assessment that if you tried to use sedation over several days, it might cause a different pattern. Let's study the pattern first, and then see if we can't use feeding to attract them away from the population, and then do what we call a trap drop. So that's the methodology, and we'd give that to you in writing so you would have the steps, and you could share it with the community as well.
Can you share what the time frame
Oh, gosh.
of this would be? Like, what are we looking at?
I don't know. I say that because I'm not your law enforcement. I know what would happen in my county. And it is hard. I'm not going to kid you guys. Stopping feeders is hard. I've seen it with Vestavia Police. I've seen it with Sheriff Petway's people. When the officers begin to tell people, listen, we're serious, what is the accountability going to be if people come up and throw their food out into the parking lot? What accountability is the city and the police department prepared to do? And that's going to determine your time frame.
But once that's accomplished, what are we looking at for the trapping, and the rest?
Usually a recon's about 2 weeks. So if you can get the feeding stopped, you do a recon for about 2 weeks and you can do a trap drop. That doesn't mean we get all 40 or 30 something. And you've got a couple of pregnant ones out there right now. So once we do that, it could be, but I think you're looking at a period of time here for us to do this. You don't want to rush it, because if you rush it, you're going to train them. So it's going to take a minute, but your longest, in our experience, that the longest period of time for y'all to have to do is the feeding part. And the not sabotaging the traps and cameras. You know, in the middle of the night, driving up, just taking the things out of the cameras, stealing the cameras. If you put traps up, releasing them so that the dogs won't go in there. And I do want to say that, and I told the mayor this, I'm just very frank. There was a case a few years ago with 2 ladies in Wetumpka, Alabama, very nice ladies who were feeding cats. And they had to shut this situation down. The mayor felt that way. It turned into an international story. So I want you, we want to support you and we want to be here for you. Getting people to stop feeding the dogs is going to be a challenge, and the police department is going to need a lot of support, because you have a 75-year-old man or woman out there who really thinks that what they're doing is humane. It's awfully hard. When they're determined that you're wrong and they're right, that's hard. And they're holding a cell phone camera in your face, you know. So you're really going to need letters from the landowners, every single landowner. Not the lease, not the people renting, the landowners, the strip mall owners, the motel owners, everybody out there has got to write a letter stating that they know this is going on, and that they give us permission to do this operation. We have insurance, we'll have to give you a copy of that, but that's going to be really important, and y'all are going to have to decide as a community, what are the police going to do if people continue to feed. I suggested to the mayor that the landowners be the ones to put signs out that say, you're not allowed to feed animals on this property. I, as the owner of the land, don't allow it. And if you're caught doing it, you know, we will evict you from this property. You won't be able to come back if you don't have an ordinance that supports it, because you could run into possible problems there. Your city attorney can advise you on that. But I would just say, being the CEO of GBHS, I've been there for, I think, 14 years now, I'm begging whoever's in this community feeding the dogs to stop and to support law enforcement. Please stop, because you're not helping the animals. You're not. You're hurting them. And I would hope that the community would support you guys and help by stopping the feeding. And the 18-wheel drivers, that's going to be interesting, because they're coming in, you know, parking in that where we saw them. They're not from here, so they may not get the memo. But that's got to stop too. So,
so would signage be a part of your proposal, your plan?
Yeah, they need to, and usually the landlords want to approve the signage that's on their property. They want to choose where the signs go and what the signs say. So that has little to do with us. It's usually their call how they want to do that.
I think Kurt has some questions.
So the feeding program, the stop feeding program that you're talking about, have you had any municipalities that you can share with us that have been successful in putting that process in place? Because that is the first step, getting the word out. Anybody that we could talk to that's been successful with that part of the plan?
Yeah, I can send you a couple of names of city managers that probably could give you some good advice, because that's the hard one. I mean, it's going to be hard trapping them, but that part is just hard on an emotional level with certain individuals, because I can understand where they're coming from, and they can get quite passionate. And then let's add on to that the unhoused population. I think whoever is the nonprofit or the agency or your department that is in their outreach with that group of people, they're going to have a conversation with them that they cannot feed, because that population is a little bit different. It's not like you got a person driving up in a Honda at 6 o'clock in the morning that the officers can see and walk up to. That one is a little tougher because they're in the woods. So how do you get them to get on board with not feeding the dogs?
So have you ever had to deal with a situation like this that involved homeless people? Or would this be your first time if we were to consider this?
Not like this. Not what we saw that day. I mean, we serve and help people that are unhoused with pets, and we have a good relationship with that population. We haven't had an encampment area involved in a pack that size with a major highway and an entire eat-all-you-can buffet on both sides of the highway going half a mile in both directions. I'll be very honest. I don't know that, in fact, last week after we met, one of the national groups wants us to write a case study on it. So I'm not gonna pretend, y'all may end up being the model of either how to do it or lessons learned from it, because this is this is not something that, I mean, it's common in other cities, but this one has a lot of things about it that are unique.
So,
No, I mean, I know you didn't want to be unique that way, because you certainly, the Conner Museum is fabulous, but this one's unique too.
well, and the 280 is a symptom.
Right.
Of a bigger problem.
Right.
And the bigger problem is the fact that Sylacauga is faced with maintaining the county shelter. We are the county shelter. Talladega has a city pound required by law. Article says we do too, because we're over 5,000 population. So city of Sylacauga is footing the bill for the county.
You don't have to.
We know. And our services are very expanded upon. We offer a lot of services, and we have great humane organizations like Feral Dogs of Avondale, which we help fund as well.
Right.
But this is a bigger, so could your organization help us with the bigger picture that we're faced with as well? Because this is a multifaceted
I know.
problem.
And the mayor and I had that conversation too. It is interesting that the city it's kind of like the Pell City situation and Jasper as well. Because you know under the code, you don't have to do that. But it's laudable that you are. We can try. I mean, Stephanie's asked for advice, and we can try to give her some advice and try to give her some things we've learned over the years doing it. I think we do a really good job. And we're helping Jasper and Walker County kind of, not with this, but in a sort of similar situation of how do we get better at this? And we were successful at getting the Walker County Commission to adopt the leash law, which is a huge part of it, because if you have unaltered animals and you don't contain them, you're never going to get out of this. So, and I do want to reassure you about something. In all the data that we've gathered between Walker, St. Clair, and Jefferson, the idea that has kind of, I think, gotten out in the state and happens a lot to rural counties is that everybody's just, there's all these people and they're uneducated and they've got these dogs and they're running everywhere and they're not altered. That is not what we have found. What we find is that most people in counties love their animals. And most people in counties take care of their animals. And most people in counties alter their animals. It's a few people, when you study it, it is a few repeat people that continue to have animals that they will not contain, they will not alter, and those animals go out and impregnate other animals that are roaming. It is not the majority of the people in your county that's the problem. I bet you anything, if you study the data, you'd find out it is a concentrated group. It's repeat offenders, if you, not unlike, criminal justice. So that's the thing I want to say to reassure you, is it's not something you can't tackle, but adopting the leash law, the county commission adopting that is really important, and enforcing it and telling people, look, you're not just going to let your dog out and have it run and be unaltered, because you're just asking for a disaster when you do that.
So do you have a proposal or something to present to us tonight as far as a plan?
I did not bring anything right, because I was just here to meet you for the first time and talk to you, but I will send you one. We aren't going to send you a proposal with a fiscal note on it. And I've told the mayor that. So whatever you decide to pay, if we're successful, is up to you.
Well, we just need, again, I think, and we said this.
She's like,
okay.
There's not going to be a fee to this?
I think there is, but there isn't.
I've already told our Dr. Johnson and I have talked about it, and we've talked to a couple of donors. I don't know what we'd prefer to do is see if we can do it. And if we're successful, whatever you have to spend that can reimburse us, we'll show you what we spent. Then you spend what you can to reimburse it. And if you would rather use that to help your own shelter and you can afford to do that, that's probably what we'd like to see you do. But if we need any funds from it, we'll let you know. But we just want to support you.
Yeah, but we need to see a plan, because again, we're not experts on this, so that's why we're reaching out to all the professionals and the people that do this for a living, because again, we don't.
Right.
So we just need to see what that would look like on paper before we can decide anything.
Okay.
So, and that's why we're asking the questions, but in the proposal, a couple of things I would like to see is, a timeline. You know, I know you said the recon, that would take about 2 weeks, so it would make it easier for us if it was spelled out in a timeline. Just let us know what the recon, would look like, let us know what the options of trapping the animals would look like. And also, even with the options, if possible, can you let us know the risk? We would also, you know, like to know the risk, just like with the darting, they could possibly run into 280. Something else that we would, I would like to know, I'm speaking for y'all, I'm sorry.
You spoke what I was earlier, so.
Something else I would like to see in the proposal is, a possible time, you know, on how long this would take. And I know you probably can't, but just after your evaluation, you probably can give us a possible, timeline of how long this would take, as well as once we catch all these animals, what can we do afterwards? Because we don't want to end up in this situation again. So what tools would the city, or training with the city be left with, you know, so that we don't have to call you guys every few months? And I had something else too on here.
And also, I have a couple of questions about vet care afterwards, once they're, so will your doctor look them over, check them out? And is that part of this?
I mean, we would have to, because I don't think you guys, with a pack that large, we did notice, I mean, Dr. Johnson could already see some issues that he thinks were present that you could just see, he could just see, not looking at them. So we're gonna need to run heartworm tests, we're gonna need to run pretty extensive testing. The other thing he wants to be sure that we can do to support Stephanie is, we do not want to bring 40 dogs into her shelter, have you have a distemper outbreak. So he really wants to try to figure out is how would we possibly quarantine the animals if we trap them, get them tested, if they test negative. So that would also be written part of what we'd send you. But the other part, I want to make sure you tell us, we also need to know back from y'all in writing what you're going to do to back up securing assets that we leave here for the recon period, and what you're going to do about the feeding situation, just so we have some assurances that we're just not out here, you know, by ourselves. So we'll be happy to give you everything you're asking for.
So, but you're gonna have to tell us what to do, because we don't know. So that's another thing. So hopefully you'll tell us that if we decide to do this, this is what you need to do, right?
I can, but I would say this, you need to run some of it. I'm not an attorney. So you're probably gonna have to run some of it that I can't address.
We'll run everything by our city attorney, but that's why we're reaching out to you and all the other people we've been talking to for guidance, because again, we're in the informational stage. We don't know anything. We're trying to learn. So it would help us if we knew what your best practices were. So this is best practice. If we come out, if we go into this agreement and we set up equipment, this is what we need on behalf of the city. It would make it easier if it was presented to us like that. Because I mean, we don't know what to do with cameras.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like the feeding program rests with us making that.
That's what the ordinance is gonna have to come in at, the PD.
We would put food out for the dogs, but where we can make a recommendation to you, and we can put you in touch with other city managers or county managers who have had to deal with the feeders, the human feeders who are feeding the dogs. We can tell you what we would recommend, but the limits of what GBHS can do with our resources is we can't, of course, we cannot interfere with your feeders. The people that live here are the drivers. We don't have any jurisdictional authority, we don't have law enforcement authority. So that, and we'll explain that to you.
And that's what we need, a recommendation. So that's what we're looking for. We're gonna, so that we can know what our next move is.
Right.
Okay, during the transition period of the feeders, okay, once the people are no longer feeding them and y'all are trying to transition them, I'm concerned about aggression with hungry animals. What is?
Well, you're feeding them, you're just not feeding them where you're feeding them now.
Right.
So you're slowly, think of it like Dr. Johnson said, think of it like a Hansel and Gretel approach. You're starting to push the food out, and you're getting them to start getting used to going out toward that food. They're not starved, but you're changing the way they're getting their food.
Okay.
So they're not hungry.
So everything would kind of start at the same time.
Yeah, you want to start, once we figure out the patterns and who the alphas are and where they're doing, then we can figure out where to set up the feed, what we would call the feeding stations. and they can go out and start getting used to eating at those stations. And they need about 2 weeks to get to where they actually really know that's the only place I'm gonna be able to eat. I'm not gonna be able to eat at Home Depot, I'm not gonna be able to eat at the fast food restaurant or Publix. The only place I can go to get food is way over here in these woods right here, or way over here, or way over here, or way over here. So once you get them into that pattern, and we know they're using that pattern, now we're getting in a much better situation. Does that make sense?
It does. So how soon could you get us a recommendation and a proposal?
I can get you one by probably the end of the week. I
Okay.
think Dr. Johnson and I can get you one at the end of the week. I mean, we've already written a good bit of it. It was just more of sort of kind of learning a little bit more tonight about what you guys could do on the parts we couldn't do.
And in the proposal, I'm pretty sure you'll tell us what your survey said too, just based on the survey, this is what you're recommending.
Right. And also, we'll have in there on that recon part, when would we communicate to you what we're learning? That part, to be honest, that needs to stay confidential. So if we give you the results of what we learned from the cameras, that cannot get out. So, because we've seen cases in other places where if that gets out, then people start deliberately trying to undo what you've learned. So that part's that's the tricky part right there. But I'll put that in there. It'll be a public document, but it's nothing that hasn't been written before in this country. It's been written before in other cities. Just not with a highway like that in the middle of it.
Okay, so we do appreciate you for coming out. So I am looking forward to getting that proposal and that recommendation, so that we can, again, just come up with a plan to take care of the situation, because we do know how serious it is, we do know how dangerous it is, but we also know how important it is. So we just want to make sure we choose the best route possible for everybody.
Right.
So I guess you're gonna send the proposal over to the mayor?
Yeah, do you want me to send it, Mayor, do you want me to send it? I'll be happy to do that,
All
yeah.
right, and then the mayor, once you get it, you can share it with the city attorney as well as the rest of us, so that way we can discuss it at our next council.
And then just feel free to call me if you have any questions, or Dr. Johnson too. He's made his phone number available. If there's anything that you have, any more questions that come up that you didn't think of tonight, be happy to answer them. I'm happy to help you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I do want to say this, it's been a pleasure meeting Stephanie and working with her. We've worked with her for several months, and she's just an incredibly dedicated servant, and I really appreciate what she's doing for your community. She works awfully hard. Her staff probably works really hard too, and I think a lot of these rural shelter directors or rural shelter staff don't know that the public really understands what they see every day and how hard they work with the little resources that they have. And she's been just a real pleasure, and she's been really supportive of y'all, and it's just been a really pleasant experience to see that kind of support between a government and a shelter director. Is rare, and it's really nice to see. So it's been such a pleasure meeting you guys. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, you take care.
You too. Okay.
Number 3.
All right, item number 3 on our agenda, it is discussion and related vote. It's Elizabeth Harker, East Alabama Regional Development Planning Commission, to discuss the City of Sylacauga's application for the Community Development Block Grant, the CDBG, and its related request for qualifications, award for engineering services related to the CDBG. Hey, how are you tonight?
Doing good, how are you?
Good, good.
All right, so earlier, well, I suppose it's last month now, we went through the RFQ process, which is a request for qualifications for engineering services for the CDBG grant. It's kind of the first step to doing any construction project. And so we put out a notice, public notice and legal notice for engineering services, and followed federal and state procurement laws on that, called a scoring. And East Alabama did not take part in the scoring.
We have a question about that scoring process.
Yes.
This is new to us, and I don't know if it's a question for you or Cassie. Is this a question for you about is her? All right, go ahead, Laura.
Normally, I know in the past, we were a part of that, right, Tiffany, if I recall?
In selecting the engineer?
Yeah, in selecting the engineering firm. Did something change with that? Because I noticed that it was selected on the agenda paperwork we received, and I wasn't sure if something had changed, with our role on that, because normally we go through the selection process, because that's how in the past, you know, other engineering firms were chosen.
But that's what we're asking, Kathy, just tell us how the selection process came about.
Yeah, so the RFQ is similar to your bid process. So those packets were submitted, and we had 3 individuals, the mayor, myself, and John Hill, went through each one. East Alabama had provided a scoring sheet to see if all the criteria were there. We scored whether they had done it well, done it poorly, and independently went through each qualification.
And that's how you came up with the engineering firm that you have, just based on the score sheet, as far as the qualifications that, from the score sheet that they had provided. So but we've never done it like this before, right?
Right.
So where are the procedures, where is the ordinance that says that's how we're doing this for a grant application? Is that how you handle all grant applications?
I just don't remember the scoring process.
We went through it, we as the council, because we are the ones who make the ultimate decision on it, we went through that process in the past, from what I can recall, since that's our decision to make. So that's why I was a little thrown off that it had been picked already, because I was like, wait, we need to see these firms and what they bring to the table before we are responsible for making that decision.
So this is a grant, this isn't money that we're forking out, this is money that we're applying for to receive a grant.
Still,
is there an ordinance in place that stipulates this?
Even if it's a grant, nobody can even apply for a grant on behalf of the city unless the council says so. So even if we're not spending any money.
But you approved the resolution for us to apply for this grant.
These will be the engineering services that provide the work for these projects, like, what was the EDT or whatever?
Yeah.
That formerly, provided services for the downtown projects and stuff. And
That was recommended to us. We never did pick that. That was on the agenda when we got here, Lord. We just had to roll.
yeah, that was already, but it was already in place when we got here for that one.
But we did vote on it though. Laura's just trying to understand, and I want to know too, so is this something we want to do moving forward, or?
So the engineer that you're selecting is simply for the community development block grant, that only.
The grant, not the scope of work, like we ran into last time, because that's what was supposed to happen with EDT, is they were supposed to just do the grant. And then there was something in the contract that stipulated that they did the work too.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Harker, when it's the CDBG grant, it has to be start to finish with, the first step is selecting the engineer. Then as the award goes through, that engineer works, but they will not be used in other grant opportunities. It's just community development block grant.
So y'all were saying the same thing, so they are gonna do this project. So they're gonna do this project, they're being selected to do this project with this grant. But Cassie's saying they can't be selected to do any other one, but once we get another grant, you guys are gonna select the engineer the same way with the scoring card?
So what you have in front of you today is saying that Kaywood Mills and Goodwin is going to, Goodwin Mills and Kaywood is going to be selected for 3 years. Anytime we apply for the community development block grant, that is the engineering firm who determines whether or not the specs are met for that grant and what kind of projects would come forth out of that.
Okay, but what Laura is saying is, isn't the council usually the body that selects that firm, the engineering firm?
I'm going to defer, the last CDBG grant that I know of was prior to y'all's last administration. I'm not sure exactly how that one was scored. Ms. Harker?
It was.
Do you have any information on our previous?
I do not. That was also before my time. I will say, in terms of procedure, federal and state procurement doesn't specify how the scoring process has to happen.
Mm-hmm. And I don't have an issue with it, but I do get it. I see both sides. This is what I'm gonna ask, and Laura, I know you have to leave, and just let me know if you agree. And I think the mayor has some background and expertise in stuff like this, so he's really good at it, and I don't. Will you just at least let us know who submitted some applications, and just let us see the scorecards? And that's how we just make our decision based on, the mayor's recommendation, because he is an expert in this. What do you think?
Yeah.
I think that's
I
fine,
just
because
don't
I
want
don't,
to set precedent,
yeah.
for the future, something that we feel passionate about,
Yeah.
certain.
And I appreciate you for bringing it up, but yeah, Laura is right, and I don't have an issue with it, and hopefully the rest of you guys don't, but again, that's his area of expertise, he's done this for a lot of years. So Mayor, just let us know, let us provide the scorecards for us, say, hey guys, this is who all submitted something, and this is who I'm recommending we go with based on the scorecard. And I don't have a problem with that.
And I did attach the
You're all in here.
scorecards
Yeah.
to that email, so
Yeah.
y'all know.
But it is usually the council, but again, I'm not a professional in that. I don't mind letting the mayor, handle that. Just let us know who sent it and why we're choosing these people. You good with that?
Okay, so we're not gonna vote on it tonight?
Yeah, we are, because we have to, this is who, right? Yeah, we're choosing these
In order
people.
to apply this fiscal
Yeah.
year, you would have to approve your.
And this is the engineering firm that we want to use. Yep. Y'all agree with that?
Yeah, I'm happy.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I'm not sure if there's any other questions. I mean, we selected Goodwin Mills and Kaywood as we spoke. They were the highest scored out of, I believe, 7 proposals, which was a lot. So we had a lot of firms that were interested in serving and working with y'all's community. So yes, for tonight, just passing a resolution saying that they are awarded. That does not come with a price tag. They will negotiate a contract upon award. So if we do get the grant, that would be when that would go through council authorization. So if there's any other questions, I'm more than happy. It is a complicated process because the state and federal regulations are vague. So.
And it's a long process, but no, thank you so much for being here. And thank you, Mary and Cassie, for taking care of that for us. And I'm pretty sure if we have any more questions, we'll reach out to Cassie and she'll reach out to you.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. All right, Laura, I know you have to leave. Do you want to move the vehicle thing to next time?
Yes, do you mind moving it?
All right, so old business, Cassie, we're gonna move number 4 to next time. I think Tim probably had some input on that too. We still can't do the veto thing because we still don't have everybody here. Can't vote back on that. And that's all the old business. So the new business, we are gonna, discussion by Chief Rondell Muse regarding surplus property for donations to other agencies. I know we've done stuff like this before. Do we want Chief to come up and explain that, or are we good on that?
I'm good.
All right, we do have an add item, discussion that is necessary by Chief Rondell Muse to recommend to hire Police Officer Lloyd Shaw at a step 2 effective as of hire date yesterday. And guys, I did allow him to add this one because if we hadn't added it today, he would have had to hire them in 2 weeks. Y'all know we don't do retroactive pay, so we added this tonight, but he did hire him.
And this is normal procedure right here as well.
Yes. All right, so next item, discussion that is necessary by council member Nate Brewer regarding city council nuisance and abatement board appointments. And we do, Cassie, is that on here tonight for us to vote on those board appointments?
No, ma'am, you just simply have to state who it is that you're appointing.
And that's all we have to do? So then we do it during the council meeting?
We'll
You can do it now.
We need to do it at the next council meeting, because I think Tim has a appointment. I know Ms. Greer
Yeah.
is working on her appointment. Do you still have, you got one you're working on?
I've got one I'm working on.
Because we're going on, the nuisance and abatement, we're going on a 1 member instead of 2 members per district.
Mine already been
And we have
attending
to,
meetings.
and we cannot move forward with any meetings until we get this board reestablished. So we need to, kind of work on that and get that done at the next meeting, if all possible, because we're kind of sitting still, spinning circles.
Okay, all right.
I apologize for having to leave. My child has a ball game.
All right, thanks, Laura. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, next item, discussion that is necessary by Officer Josh Coleman regarding revised proposed nuisance and abatement bid document. You doing all right tonight, Josh?
Doing good. All right, thanks for the opportunity to discuss the bid. So basically, before we hit that, Mr. Brewer actually mentioned a couple things that I included in your packet tonight. On the first page, wanted to make sure that y'all had the current bylaws for the nuisance and abatement board, just for review and reference. And the second page is just a one-pager, basically talking about the section 1153A2, where we discovered that the board actually only needs one person per district versus two. And because of that, there is a proposal to amend their ordinance because it still shows in our city ordinance 2232-21, where there is two members per district, and that's something that we'd like to mention for updating due to the.
All right, is that the only amendment that you've seen after going through this document, just making sure we select the updated number of members?
That and also how long they are serving.
Okay.
Those are the two major things, and then obviously if you're opening up that ordinance, if there's anything else when you review that.
We need to put, can we get the ordinance on the next agenda to go on and get it signed, sealed, and delivered?
We'll update it, amend it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And also, could we not go ahead and make in that ordinance the bylaws that we're looking at the next meeting as well?
Can we do what?
Yes, the bylaws that are changing, if we could add that to the ordinance so that we're
Yes.
taking
Sure.
that into.
To get that, Ms. Cassie.
So with an ordinance change, we would have to publicize. So
That's
we can
right.
set a public hearing and we can get that going. Your bylaws, I will say, typically are not a part of your ordinance.
So do we have to adopt them?
So
Adopt the bylaws.
the board would adopt their bylaws.
So it's not us. Okay, the board would need to do it. Okay,
That was the part I was a little bit confused about.
okay.
All right, so the board adopts the bylaws.
And the last time bylaws were touched, I believe, was 2001, Randy Clark, which he's still the president, so.
Nuisance bylaws?
Correct. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, so I think that'll be done by the board, and
Yeah.
once the new members are established, they can take care of that.
That's right.
That has nothing to do with us.
That was the only thing that I wanted to sort of tag along with Mr. Brewer's mention. The last page is a draft of an invitation to bid. This is more extensive than the last contract. I was not part of the previous contract, and there's a couple things that I've learned over the last 2 years doing this job. And one of the things from Ms. Nix that I wanted to definitely point out is that this actually points specifically on how haul-off is considered.
So it's haul off and dumping?
It's all in the same. And that's specifically clarified in this contract. So want to make sure that you knew that I'd, put that in this proposal.
Thanks, Josh.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that.
But as far as the packet, if anyone has any questions, I'd point towards scope of work being the thing that really covers everything that we've run across over the last 2 years. And as far as the timeline to bid this out, I'd refer to Cassie on that. As far as how you want to move forward.
All right, but we gotta go over it first, though.
Do you want me to go through 12 pages?
I don't, but I'm saying we
Yeah.
gotta go over it.
Right.
So, yeah, so we can't, let's not schedule it yet, because
This isn't a vote anyway.
I know it, but
This
I'm
is
not,
just to get it in front of you at this point.
I know, I'm not prepared to like go through it tonight, that's what I'm saying, I'm
I
not
ain't prepared to
prepared.
go through it either.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So we're gonna have a chance to review this.
Yes, that's when you're taking it home, and then we'll come back and discuss it with questions and stuff, but I don't wanna do that tonight, I don't wanna go through it page by page tonight.
Okay.
I'm good.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda, is discussion that is necessary by Councilmember Gervis Ignani regarding a withdrawal of funding request by SAFE and the Chamber of Commerce related to generators, the generator program.
So I just want to be clear that SAFE is pulling their funding request for the Generator Alpha program. And I'm asking the question, with them pulling that, no money has been given, we're withdrawing the resolution. And so at this point, the only funding request from SAFE would be the transportation, the 5311 program.
Yeah, but remember, she was saying this was separately anyway, so this was a whole nother separate, request, this has nothing to do with
So with
safe.
her pulling that, then she doesn't come back around again in the next fiscal year.
That's something we'll discuss during budget time, so when we get our budget, when the mayor, submits the budget to us for review, at any time, if we agree that, once we're doing the budget work sessions, you don't have to consider anything. This is a request, everything is a request. If there's something on there while we're in budget and say, hey, guys, we're taking a informal vote, we're gonna remove this, then we'll remove it.
So I guess my question, appropriations, we do these things. I've learned appropriations is a word that is used where people come to the city asking for.
They're asking,
funds, right? So do we have a policy that states that you come at this particular time of the year and you come once a year?
Everybody comes at the same time.
At budget, it's at budget
It's
time.
budget time.
The clerk's office sends out letters.
Yeah,
We extend a letter from the current contract and appropriation holders, and that gives off the criteria of what they have to provide to us with their request.
but to your question, that's just standard practice, that's just a courtesy. That's a courtesy that we do because we give money to certain appropriations based on certain services that they provide or their stance in the city. But some people, if there is a special circumstance, they will come in between the year and ask for money. But again, the council has the right to say yes or no.
Well, I think it'd be wise on our part to have a policy that states that appropriations are dealt with on an annual basis.
And that's something that, like I tell Nate and Lauren, everybody add it to your notes for budget. Add that to your notes for budget meeting. If that makes sense. And we also need to be making notes, because I'm pretty sure the mayor's getting prepared to get ready to present us a budget. So,
You know my method on budget. Cut, cut, cut.
When will budget cycle start?
Usually June, July, ain't it, Mayor?
Just send letters out and start preparing.
Okay, so July, August, maybe. Yes, usually July, August, because I'm usually back at school.
all right. Okay, so we're ready. We're gonna go ahead. That's it for the work session, right?
I hope.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, that's it. So we're gonna go into the, and we've already discussed this,
What about the moratorium? Is that-
we've already discussed that, remember?
Yeah.
Madam President, if I may, there was one thing when we were looking at the document, it had stated that if the person was late renewing the business license, that they would fall in as if they were a new business. We asked to add in one little clause that says, and I believe it says, and deemed inactive. That gives us some time frame that if they come February 1st, right outside of renewal period, that they can still.
When, did this come up today?
It did. It did. We were reviewing.
But this isn't, is it on here to be voted on today?
It was.
Okay, so yeah, let's take it off just so we can look at it, just to make sure it, is to,
Is it already in the resolution? Have you already added it to the
I added
resolution?
it and sent it over to you. So what you have in front of you has that one little section added.
So we should be able to vote on it.
If you would like to consider it. The rest of it is exactly as you received it.
You just added that clause today.
That one clause.
Okay.
but still, since we added it though, that still changes it, so let's just move it
Can we
to.
not just look at the resolution, with that one clause and just see how it, what it says? It's one
I know it, but it's still just, as y'all always say, everybody's not here, it still changes the document. Yeah, I think we should
The
just,
longer we put this off, the more likely another incident's gonna come.
I know it, but that's what I'm saying, so once we go over stuff and we say grace over it, then it should be ready, we can't keep going back changing stuff, even if you change the sentence, you still change the document. Is what I'm saying.
And we can remove that section and pass it as you originally had it. It's your choice.
Can you show us where this is in this
In
document?
section 4,
Exemptions?
yes ma'am, and it'll be under A. And the wording was, has an expired business license if it's not timely renewed and deemed as inactive. And deemed as inactive was the words that were.
That's the word that you added, that's it.
That's it. That way, like I said, it gives us, this 1 year period would cover another renewal period. And it's not often, but some people will come in February, they do have to pay a penalty. But officially, they're late if they're after January 31st. So that gives a little bit of discretion in there to renew.
All right, so are y'all two want to consider this
I
tonight?
think we need to vote on it. I mean, it's just one of those, they didn't change the whole bunch, they just added it.
It's okay, all I need is for two of y'all to say it. All right.
Y'all mind if I ask, I know Brian Talton worked hard on it, would you have any objections to that clause?
I hate that I'm missing because the good is people are going to accidentally lapse.
Right.
You need to be prepared with that scenario. If you lock them in, as it was, that would be a mistake, you have to go back and redo it, so it's better that it be done now.
I know, and I hear what y'all saying, but what I'm saying is we're ready to vote on it as is, so it don't matter. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All right, so y'all two, we're gonna consider this tonight. Yes?
Why not?
All right. Okay, all right, so on the agenda, we're gonna, award the RFQ to the engineering services for the CDBG grant that we talked about, action that is necessary, set a public hearing for the CDBG grant and the add item for the police officer and accounts payable. All right, that's it. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and, end the work session. We're gonna start the council meeting at 6:47 PM. All right, do a roll call vote. Greer Bisignani, I'm here. Nate Brewer.
Here.
Tim Vincent and Laura Heath are not here. Invocation was provided by, Pastor Kadarius Davis, and now we're gonna, stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm an athlete, I'm good.
Mayor Hubbard, do you have a report for us tonight?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam President, council. Hope everyone had a safe and happy Memorial Day weekend. I know that's a little belated, but this is our next meeting to have opportunity to say that. I want to thank Miss Judy Green and her team for coming in tonight and that presentation. I should say Betsy Ross instead of Judy. But I hope if you're in town on the 4th and you can make it to the museum, I'd like to encourage everyone to do that. The flyer says from 11 to 2 there at the museum. Also would like to wish our Miss Sylacauga, Megan Malloy. She is currently participating in the Miss Alabama pageant at Sanford University. So I'd like to ask everyone just to lift her up in prayer and encouragement as she represents America's Marble City with great pride. I know we're all proud of Megan and her efforts. I'd also like to ask for folks' support of Miss Sanaya Thomas. Some of y'all may have seen that Facebook the other night on her platform that she currently has, this Every Star Shines platform. And she's wanting to bring awareness to the topic of inclusion. And of course, inclusion is important to all of us, for all citizens. I'd also like to remind everyone of Miss Peyton Christ fundraising efforts to bring the first Safe Haven baby box to the city of Sylacauga. So I wish I had their fundraising. I don't know if Tim's still here. Where is it they can go for the fundraiser to make a donation? Is it?
You can make a check out to Safe Haven baby boxes.
Okay.
Let me know, or let you know, I'll come by and get it.
Okay.
Here or wherever.
All right, so.
And we have a fundraiser tomorrow night at Dairy Queen in Phillipsburg.
Yes, I saw that.
Yep, they're
Good
using
deal.
proceeds from their profits for the baby box.
Okay.
And we also have several churches in the area that are included in their vacation Bible school missions office.
Oh, fantastic, that's great. Okay, well, thank you, Madam President, appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Mayor. All right, okay, I need a motion to, adopt or amend the current meeting agenda?
I make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yay.
Any nays? Motion passes. Next, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the regular city council meeting held on May 5th, 2026.
Motion.
Second? All in favor?
Yay.
Any nays? Motion passes. Next item, need a motion to approve the regular city council meeting held May 21st, 2026.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yay.
Any nays? Motion passes. All right, old business, action that is necessary to approve resolution 56-2026 to declare a one-year moratorium on the issuance of business license and permits for vape, tobacco retailers and packaged liquor stores. So Cassie, it doesn't change, the resolution number doesn't change even though we change a word in it?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
That is that resolution.
All right, and a motion by a council member?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yay.
Any nays? No. All right, new business, action that is necessary to approve resolution 55-2026 to award the high scoring request for qualifications for engineering services related to the community development block grant for a 3-year period. If to consider at this meeting, I need an introduction by a council member.
I'll introduce.
All right. If to take action at this meeting, I need a motion to suspend the rules.
Motion.
Second? I heard Nate first.
Second.
All in favor?
Yay.
All right. Any nays? No. So it's unanimous. I need a motion to approve.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yay.
Any nays? All right. That has been awarded. Next item, action that is necessary to set a public hearing for Tuesday, June 16th, 2026 at 6. You said motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yay.
Any nays? Motion passes. Next item, action that is necessary to approve starting pay for police officer Lord Shaw at PDC step 1, PDC 1 to step 2, effective as of the hire date. I need a motion.
Motion.
Second, all right. All in favor?
Yay.
Any nays? Motion passes. Next item, action that is necessary to approve accounts payable invoices for fiscal year 2026 in the amount of $864,065.15. I need a motion.
Motion.
I need a second. Greer, all in favor?
Yay.
Any nays? All right. Cassie, on number 11, when we set all those interviews, just remember we just set a public hearing. So we may have to start a little earlier. All right, now it's time for anyone to address the city council. No action to be taken at this meeting. Please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record prior to addressing the council. Is there anyone? You doing all right?
I'm feeling wonderful. Good evening.
Good evening. Okay, I know who you are, Sabrina, but I still need you to tell us your first and last name and your address before addressing the.
Sabrina Yvonne McCain.
Okay.
And I live at 303 East Park Street, have been a resident there for 28 years.
Okay.
And what I'm coming to the council to discuss is, there are numerous of things that I want to discuss, but I'm gonna try to break it down. The first is about the overgrown properties, vacant and abandoned houses, and overgrown ditches. And y'all been talking about the feral dogs, okay? Last year, there were a couple of people from our church was attacked. Her mom was 94 or 5. They got her church, was trying to get into the house. A dog attacked the lady while she's trying to get her mother. Last year, I'm walking. There were 4 dogs surrounding me, and only by the grace of God, I just called on Jesus and backed up, and they was trying to surround me, and it was 4 of them. But I did call, Mayor Hager was here, and they did send someone out to address it, and they got the dogs. But I have some pictures here, because they tell me that speaks volumes in a lot of words.
You'll pass it to the mayor.
Now, this is my home. And then the rest of them are numerous of pictures from different locations, such as, we're all in District 2. So we're talking about Walnut in Wetumpka, we're talking about Park Street, East Park Street. And then we have roads that are just all messed up, haven't been paved. They paved the top of the road, going to Sunrise, and they stopped. I don't know what happened to them when they was turning on Park Street, what happened to that? Okay, there are several houses that are on that street right now, they're so grown up, you can't even tell that it's a house.
So Sabrina, on the pictures, are they houses and roads or they mixed up? So we're gonna separate the pictures, cause the house is probably already wrote up.
Okay.
The house is probably already wrote up and on the leases and abatement
If
list.
Miss Glenda's seen it, I know it's.
Yeah, that's why she's shaking her head. So, and I'll show you how
Well,
to,
just, yeah, cause I
yeah.
want to know, because it's like certain people know things, but I wish that all of us would kind of know. And then there are people walking around from everywhere, they're going in people's mailboxes. We had to call officer out last week, for one of our, people that live on residence, because a person went in the mailbox, got the mail out, walked down the street, tore it up. So I was able to get a picture of this person, and I think as of this week, I looked, and I think he's been arrested for something else. And had the lady to pick up the police report showing that, hey, and the reason why we really called the police is because he was like, you people leave me alone because I'm gonna come back and shoot up your house.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, oh my God, you committed a federal offense and now you're gonna kill me too? Oh God, what is going on? So a lot of these properties, like I said, when, Mayor White was here, I used to call him, come down, and would speak with him, and he would address everything. I've had a problem with just even calling. I did not even know that the phone systems have been messed up for over a year, and that you don't even have a proper telephone number to call. I've been calling, leaving messages, I called and called, because I said, okay, if you call this number, keep calling and calling, leaving messages, maybe someone will get it. So they did, and I guess they passed the message on to you. Now, Mr. Parrott did come out yesterday and spoke with me about the ditches. He claimed that he does an assessment of each ditch, it's 90 of them. And he was saying that we're on the list, but he said, but I am definitely on the list this week, which I've been calling for over a month. Like I said, as a resident of 28 years, I don't understand why I would have to even come down and address the council, asking why are these drainage ditches, there are snakes crawling. Then you got a couple of the members that live in the area too, that are here, and they're having so many problems, and we're all trying to just get together and be on one accord and come here and address you all, ask you what is going on with District 2, because I know you're saying Sylacauga and Marble City, Sylacauga is beautiful, but you got this nice, beautiful mural out here. We got the fire hydrants, they're prayed, it's so beautiful, wonderful job, whoever got pay somebody to do it. Because if you come over 2 blocks up and 2 streets over, then I can't even ride down the street because of the overgrown brush. Y'all really owe me a paint job on one of my cars, but I'm gonna let y'all slide on it. I'm gonna let y'all slide. Because when you ride on the street, 2 cars can't, because the overgrown brush, it just scrapes the side of your car. And I'm trying to figure out, well, why is my area like that? Do you understand? Because I know, I saw you the last meeting I went, I said, is that the mayor? Okay, I couldn't even tell that with you. Because when y'all are campaigning for our votes, you're out there, you're talking to us, and you're letting us know that you care. But then it seems like once you get into the office, then it's like there's nothing being done, no one's talking to you. And I think that's really, I don't even know the word to say that. I couldn't even call down, that I had to go through the phone system, so many numbers in order to leave a message for someone to get back. And Tiffany did get back with me. But I kept, and I think I talked to you, Ms. Cassie. I spoke to you, and I spoke to, Mr. Parrott, his clerk. And I never normally have any problems, but it seems like we got so much going on. There's so many different peoples of all nationalities from here, not just one set group of people. And they're walking, they're setting these houses on fire, and then by them being set on fire, that's another eyesore, because there the house sit, it hasn't been fully destroyed, and it's sitting there. Then you got the church on Main Street, going into 5th Street, that's sitting there, this big church. It has the house next door to it, and it has another building. The property hasn't been cut. My church is right up the street, and I'm like, okay, I got to turn and see this, and whoever's selling this building, why are they not maintaining? What is the problem that we're having to get the people to maintain their properties, or at least cut, or anything?
It is a process, but I guarantee you, Sabrina, all them houses that you got on that list, they've been written up. Miss Linda was our leases and abatement officer. AJ Antonio Stamps that's who's gonna be our new one for District 2. So everything's been rolled up in District 2, and I don't even know if you remember, I think we had like 5 houses to come down in District 2 just a few months ago.
Yes,
5
I
abandoned
did.
houses, but it is a process. It is a process, and that's why we are allocating money to the budget to take care of that. And even with this overgrown stuff, I think I can really say when Reed was here, we didn't have this problem. We don't have.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But then when Reed retired, we went through a temporary person, and we just finally got Mr. Perry as the permanent street department superintendent. So these are past year issues.
So when it's owned by a property owner, the city's not going in and cutting these
No.
shrubs back.
We
That's
can't.
the requirement, that's the property owner's responsibility. And
Yes.
the nuisance and abatement process is that we have the nuisance and abatement board make a recommendation to the city council to put out liens on the property owners. How does that work? Explain that to Ms. Sabrina.
The lien process, Josh can explain it, the lien process isn't the first step. So we have to give them notice, we have to give them ample amount of time to cut it. And then too, one of the biggest issues, and we're just now getting our feet up under us, is finding out who owns the property. Actually getting in contact with somebody. So if you can't get in contact with nobody, I don't know if you've seen it, just like over there by where your church is, you've seen those big things we have to put that out to give notice. So it is a process, but it's a legal process. And it takes a while, it takes a while, but I'm gonna separate these from the houses from the streets. The streets are different, the streets, the mayor can help with that.
Okay.
And the ditches, the mayor and you have the mayor's cell phone number now, right?
Thank you.
You do now?
Yeah, so that's who helps with that. The mayor helps with all of that. But the other stuff, these houses, we need to give them to AJ.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure they've already been written up.
Are there any ordinances or anything in place where you're saying that we've got to contact the property owner?
It's a process. It's a list, and Josh can, I can give you Josh's phone number. You can leave your.
Before.
Yeah, Josh Coleman. That's who takes care of that. But you know AJ. AJ is our new person. It used to be Miss Glenda. Miss Glenda's the one that wrote up all them houses.
Okay.
So all these houses are already on the list, and Josh can tell you where they are in the process, what steps they're at.
And now we're going back to the animals. On my street, there are a lot of pit bull owners. A lot of them. Miss Moore, I went to visit her last week, and just me standing in her backyard, the scent from other people's that are breeding dogs or owning dogs is just horrific. You can't even, she has a beautiful backyard, and you can't even stand out there and talk. We was out there 5 minutes, and I was like, let's go, because the scent from this side and the scent from that side. And I don't even know, if there's any ordinance or anything legal about these people, because they don't have them on a leash, and I think they're breeding the dogs. They're breeding the dogs. I will. It's next to, on the next side of Miss Moore's home. I don't know. I'll get it for you, Miss Moore can, or Miss Linda. Yes, sir. And I would just want to know, and there are so many people walking, so you're asking other at, hey, make sure you keep an eye out. Make sure, because there are other older people that are living, and you don't want anybody just going up into their houses or whatever these people are doing. They don't have anywhere to go. I don't know if they're just dropping them off from here or they're coming, how they get here, but they are here and they're walking around and they're taking stuff. Let's just, today, a guy was he cut the grass and was using the blower. He went in to get something to drink and he came back out, the blower was gone. And they be coming to me, I can't do nothing about, I can help you, and for is trying to make it be known what's going on and stuff, but it's gotta be something more done. These people with these muscle cars, okay, the top of Sunrise, they get to the top of Sunrise, and they come down, and if you all was to have a presence of the police there, we could build a whole new swimming pool soon, because you could write enough tickets just in a whole month, because those people use that as a drag race.
We still wouldn't be able to do it. I think we only get like $2 off a ticket, the rest of it goes to the state.
That's all y'all get, y'all charge all that money?
We still can build everything.
Oh, man, you good though, I promise you good, because you can write.
At least pour the concrete for it, huh?
Yeah, but it'll help some.
Yeah, I think the city only gets like, what, $2?
Yeah,
Off of
I'm
each
kind of
ticket.
upset about that as well, that what happened to the swimming pool in the place over Drew Court. Because now Tiffany, you ran on that saying that you was gonna help us.
We did, and I did.
And what happened? 'Cause we
Nothing.
don't have it.
We do have it. It went back up under the housing authority. Do you know the history of, Verla Collins? You know, back in the 70s, each time they built an apartment complex, they built a community center to go with it. The city ended up with Verla Collins because the housing authority couldn't foot the bill anymore. We just ended up with the responsibility because they couldn't afford to take care of it. We ended
It
up,
looks horrible because it belongs to someone else.
no, they just put a greater,
East Howland, that little, that
East-
place.
East Howland?
Not East Howland, Mountain View.
Mountain View is under the fire department.
I thought you did tell me that last year.
Yeah, that's under the fire department. What you're saying I ran on is, Burley Collins.
Okay.
It got a brand new roof on it.
It
back,
has the roof?
Yeah, it's back up under the housing authority. And Sam came and spoke to us and told us that there was an issue with them putting the property up under their ownership, so they had to stop work on it. So that's back where it originated from when it had the daycare in it.
So who can you talk to help move it forward?
It's HUD, it's up under HUD. Yeah, it's at that level.
Okay, all right, so HUD approved that project twice,
Okay.
and it has to be approved annually. And then this past year, they put a pause on it. They didn't stop it, they just put a pause on it. And I think it had something to do with election year, whatever, but it should, the next annual renewal should kick back in.
Okay.
So that's the last update I have.
But not the local election, not ours.
Not ours.
Yeah, not our stuff.
So where are we with the swimming pool though?
We're getting ready to go out to bid. We're getting ready to put a shovel in the ground in the
So we
next
getting
month.
ready to do something for real, for real?
We already have the money in the bank. That new pickleball court and stuff, that was paid for from the money that was, got from the swimming pool. That was paid for from interest. Everything I said I was gonna do,
You got
I
it
did
done.
it. I did it.
You 100%.
And I also tell you, every time I don't know something, I tell you where to come and get your answers from too. And I also told y'all, vote for him because he was gonna take care of you. Remember me telling you that?
You did.
I did.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, ma'am. So that's
At
what.
first, I got mad and said if I could rescind the vote or call somebody to take it back, I said, cause he ain't doing right.
But that's why we down here now, so he can take care of us, because that's what we voted for.
Yes, sir. So,
And I'll make a motion.
Mayor Hubble, I'm gonna still hold you accountable. And
No,
if y'all
I'm
do what y'all
serious.
say y'all was gonna do,
That is
y'all
true.
will campaign for our vote. Because it's a simple matter. It's really not that hard. And I do know that we have the inmates because at one time I had the, my restaurant where we had to be, where we was feeding them. So I know that you get them and there's only 3 or 4 of them that they bring out. And it's so much that they, you know, they're not able to cut and do everything. You know, it's a process. I get that. But I don't think being over there that long, 28 years, and I got to see this stuff just rolled up, and you can't even identify. And then there's somebody going now around, they're setting their houses on fire.
Well, he'll be able to get the ditches and stuff, get that on the list, and he'll also be able to tell you when those things are gonna be cleaned out.
Okay.
Josh will be able to help with the stuff on the dis and abatement list, but also AJ. So AJ has been to 2 meetings, but it is on a pause now because we have to physically appoint them. So AJ's gonna be our person, and Ms. Glenda has already given him her booklet, so he's not gonna be playing catch up.
Okay, so he'll be able to jump right in and get
Yep.
started.
But we're gonna separate these. I'm gonna give these back to the mayor because the concrete streets, they do have to be done in-house. When we do paving, these aren't included because they're not asphalt. So the concrete has to be done in-house, and Mr. Perry is still fairly new, so he and his team will have to do that. And we're just now getting into the season to do stuff like that. I don't even know what the list looked like as far as concrete, but hopefully, maybe the mayor can just get us the list.
So yes, because I want to ask, is that public knowledge?
Everything is public knowledge.
Okay, because I want to know exactly where to get that information and to know what's going on. And so we can all be transparent with what's happening and be on the up and up on what's going on.
And come to the council meetings, make sure you get coming.
I do, because you know, sometimes y'all be acting up down here real bad on some other stuff, so I said, Lord. Can't get anything done because you're doing a little bickering and not in agreement with one another, but still, you still got to get the job done at the end of the day. Everybody may not agree or whatever, but you still got to work together in harmony so you can be able to address and fix and help get what needs to be done. Because we are the citizens, the taxpayers, and when we voted you in, you're working for us as well. Main thing. So we're helping paying the bills and everything, so we should have a say. We shouldn't really, I'm thinking I shouldn't have to really come down here to go through that, but then sometimes you do.
But you do those,
But
Sabrina,
you
because
do.
you have to.
I know. Yes,
Yeah,
I
you
know.
have to.
You have to, you know, you would think not.
Yeah.
But I just, thank y'all for giving me, this time to get up and talk and give y'all information so y'all can look and see what's going on of what we see. And it's not pretty in my area, but I want it to be.
Yeah.
It's not pretty over there, it's not, it doesn't look good, even coming from the hospital. Do you know when you're trying to come from either Hickory Street or Walnut, and you're trying to cross 21, do you know, there's one picture in there when you can't even see. You have to, inch out, maybe see.
Well, if you got the mayor's phone number,
I got
when
it.
he's there, you send him the, streets. Tell him it's on the corner of such and such, and he can address that, because that's, that's his job. So
Okay.
he's gonna get all those things addressed.
Trees.
Yes, sir, and no, it's just, yeah, trying to even cross there, it's dangerous to cross over
We've
there.
taken two down on the far end of 21 going out toward 280. And so
Yes.
he's starting to work his way, because
Okay.
that's one of the first things that Mr. Parent and I discussed was the safety of entering.
Of entering, it's awful, and I was like, this is coming from the hospital, trying to get, you know what I'm saying, just to go across and everything, and I just hope, that we all stay on one accord, and that we keep working towards the goal of making Sylacauga be the beautiful, or the marble city, and being like the beautiful homes when people are coming, that they can ride, if they happen to get lost or get turned around, they will see all of what I'm showing you today, you know what I'm saying, so let's make everything and everybody look good, not just one particular person, not one particular set place.
Amen.
You got your word?
I will tell you, I've had, several people reach out about the mail being taken out of
Yeah,
mailboxes.
but
That is
one
going on
person that was
all
doing it,
over.
I think he got arrested, I was trying to know his name or whatever, but it looked like when I looked at Sylacauga bus, I think he got arrested. Cause I was just I took a picture of him and was gonna ask somebody, who, did they know who
Well,
he
that's
was?
happening everywhere. I've had it
Yeah,
happen.
there's a lot of stuff happening and stuff, but we'll talk about that, cause it's been late now, I'm ready to go get me something to eat now.
All right, thank you so much. Is there anyone else who would like to address the council? All right, just state your name and address for us, please.
Cheryl Mickey, 29 Spring Street, Sycamore. Okay. So I have a question. So I know everybody's up in an uproar about the dogs. I get it. But I feel like our main issue here is the homeless people. Like Sabrina just said, people are stealing, half of them don't have anywhere to go. What are the resources for the homeless? What are we gonna do about that? We giving $500,000 to the animal shelter. The people should be first.
The mayor said you want to comment on that.
Okay.
And it's superficial, at best, but yes, I do have a plan to get with United Way. They handle about 80% of the state's homeless type, and they do, basically it's rehousing, but when we engage a homeless person, and it's determined whatever has led them to be homeless, then there's transitional housing that you try to get that individual help for. Now, some don't want help. But United Way, in the research I've done, United Way is probably the most experienced in the state of Alabama at addressing homelessness. And so I've not gotten to that point yet, but I do have a plan for that. It's just a matter of getting to it and starting to put the dominoes in place and let them fall in the order they need to fall. Because it has to be coordinated with law enforcement and plus United Way there. So, and I've not gotten down into the details of it yet, but that's where you kind of turn to for support with the homeless population. And you can address it with ordinances and things like that as well, which we'll need to do once we get to that point. And do it in a manner where you get that individual the help they need.
And a lot of them too, like they have the, rapid rehousing programs. Another part of those programs, people have to maintain jobs. Like they help them get set up with jobs, and if they don't keep the jobs, then they don't get the help. So then you end up, back. So it's just trying to figure out the root of the problem. I mean, Nate and I was talking about this one day. It's like, we got so many homeless people, but everybody hiring. So, I mean, like the mayor said, he's working on it. Hopefully we can figure it out. But, and on the back end, I hate to say this too, and I'll probably get shunned for saying this, a lot of people are like, well, why don't you build a homeless shelter? If we build a homeless shelter, then we're gonna have people dropping off homeless people. And then we can't afford to take care of, these people, because now it's overgrown, and because you have the shelter, it's gonna be like the animal shelter. we're gonna be back where we started, or with an even worse problem.
Still, but even though everybody that's homeless, it's not on drugs.
Yeah.
Everybody that's homeless are not homeless because they're not working. Everything that got so high in Sylacauga.
It's
These
high
people
everywhere.
they charging, I'm talking about Sylacauga. It's like Chelsea and stuff like that. We paying Chelsea prices. Like, it don't make no sense for rent to be $1,000 for a 2-bedroom shack. I mean, it's crazy. A lot of these people are not homeless because they choose to be.
So Cheryl, what would you recommend?
What would I recommend? For one, like Tiffany said, the homeless shelter, I recommend that the city put more money into helping the homeless than be worried about all these dollars.
I didn't recommend the homeless shelter.
I'm saying I ain't saying, you said that it will be a problem, basically.
What?
But still, we need somewhere for these people to go.
Yeah. But I think it's just trying to just see what the mayor, he's working on that, and, I mean, it's a big problem. It is a problem everywhere, but we gotta take care of the people here, but again, even if we were to set up a place, people are just gonna bring people in from everywhere, then we can't even take care, of our people.
I mean, I get that, and that's everywhere. But people, sometimes you have to put yourself in other people's shoes. Because they might be homeless today, but it could be you tomorrow. Like, you know what I'm saying? We have to think about others instead of, just focusing on, sometimes our city focus on the wrong things. And I feel like the thing with the dogs, like, it's overrated. It's overrated. All this money, $500,000 to the animal shelter? That's insane. Insane. I mean, y'all might not agree with me. I mean, I'm not saying like it's bad, but to me it's bad when we got all these homeless people.
I get what you're
It's
saying.
bad when we got all these people struggling. Like, it don't make sense. So we need to do something to make it make sense. That's just my opinion.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to address the council? Anyone? All right, so having no further business to discuss, I need a motion to adjourn.
I make the motion, we adjourn.
All right, all in favor?
Yay.
Time of adjournment, what is it, 7:18?